arts nonprofit Imagination Station launched a Kickstarter to fund the project. Campaign collected to commission an 11-foot-tall replica. Now, RoboCop became cultural icon after the 1987 film about a cyborg police officer who protects a futuristic version of Detroit. Although the movie was filmed mostly in Dallas, depicted a bleak, fictionalized version of the city, a fan tweet to then-Mayor Dave Bing helped spark the statue concept. Bing went on to say, Philadelphia has a statue of Rocky, and RoboCop would kick Rocky's butt. He's a great ambassador for Detroit.
I mean, I agree. I haven't seen RoboCop, but I tend to agree.
There is such a natural affiliation with the Rocky statue in Philadelphia. I've actually been to that statue. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but hey, to each their own, right?
Got to get somebody to visit Detroit some way.
But Tyler, judging from this photo, I don't know that they've built it in like a heavy touristy location. I'm
Correct.
just judging from this photo.
Well, I wonder how many, like, honestly, you two, like, Tyler, you've seen the film, right? I've seen it a couple of times. I saw it when it came out in 1987, and I saw it actually in the last couple of years with Jack.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, right?
I've seen pieces
Peter
of
Weller.
it. He's got a red light that goes like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if you guys walk by that without hearing this story, if you haven't seen that red light done away in years, would you be like, oh, damn, there's RoboCop?
Oh, no.
I would think
Not
it's a
at all.
Transformer.
Yeah, I would go some Marvel character.
Is that Optimus Prime?
I'd probably confuse it and say, oh, that's the head, who's the guy that looks like Charlie Sheen, but it's not Charlie Sheen.
Brown, you just blew my mind there.
What'd I say?
Arnold Schwarzenegger in RoboCop?
That's what I thought. Is he Terminator? No, he's in Terminator.
Yes,
Okay.
he is the Terminator.
Have you seen
That
Terminator?
blows my mind.
I've not seen Terminator.
Is
No.
he not
what?
RoboCop too?
I thought so too, but they
What
tell
are
me
we
it's not.
doing?
No, they
He's
tell
seen
me
Heart's War, though.
God, I mean, the stuff Lance holds against me.
Wait.
Zootopia.
Schwarzenegger
I like
is not
Zootopia.
RoboCop as well?
No, I thought the same thing, Jim.
Well, that makes more sense to me now because I always wondered if you did Terminator, why did you need to do RoboCop? They seem to be so much alike.
Well, one is a cop to protect society.
Right.
And one actually comes from the past or from the future to come back and protect a certain individual from one of the Terminators.
I know, but if Schwarzenegger is playing both roles, they seem to be so alike. I was like, God, he's going to get typecast in this role.
No, the guy that actually plays the RoboCop, it's a cop that actually gets shot down early in the movie, and they come back. It's almost like the
Bonnie
$6
Man?
million man.
Yeah, Bonnie Man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know who would like this story is our guy Brandon Marcello. He had the RoboCop tattoo. He's a big fan. You remember that?
I do remember that.
And that was when I hated to bring up at the moment that I had not seen the movie. Like, Brandon is so dedicated to get a tattoo. I was like, I never saw it.
Is this the monkey? I thought the final monkey was killed, or is this a different monkey?
The Mississippi monkeys?
There were still a couple on the loose last time we checked in.
They also are not infected, right? We know that.
Well, Forrest, a young adult, was 21 among 21 monkeys being transported for the biomedical research. When the truck they were in overturned on October 28th, 5 monkeys were killed. Law officers searched for them in the immediate aftermath of the crash. Video from officers' body cameras show chaotic scene as monkeys that escaped from their wooden crates dashed around the interstate median with some running towards.
Get all your favorite Next Round gear all in one place. NextRound.store. From our Next Round hats to the logo tees to the all-time best-selling Y'all Can Have the Rest shirt, you can look your best by shopping with us at NextRound.store. Take the Next Round anywhere with NextRound.store.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Have you been injured in an 18-wheeler accident, company truck accident, car accident, or work-related accident? Call Alabama's largest personal injury firm. Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys will fight for every dollar you deserve, and it won't cost you a dime. Trust me. What do you say, man?
Call me, Alabama.
Call 659-777-7777 or go to Shinara.com.
No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Notre Dame takes their balls and go home. Indiana's really good. Georgia beats down Alabama, but the Tide's still in the playoffs. We're going to talk about it all. Portals opening up, everything coming up in the next 3 hours. LTD&B, the guys behind the glass, all with you today. We'll tell you about one of our new sponsors in a moment. But Alabama's in. Notre Dame is not. Miami's in. Notre Dame is not. First question to you guys. Should Alabama have been in this field?
Are they one of the 12 best teams in college football? Yes. Do they deserve to be in? I don't know. I mean, they're not playing like it right now. You know, I thought last year was such a schizophrenic year with Jalen Milroe. I think this year's right there with it. And so then I think people are going to start to say, well, is this the identity of Kalen DeBoer? Because really, we could blame it on the quarterback play last year, but who do we blame it on this year? Injuries? Everybody's got injuries.
Schizophrenic implies, though, that it is good then bad. It's just kind of been bad. It was good for a minute and then bad for a minute. Like the frustrating thing last year is one Saturday they could look amazing and the next Saturday they looked awful.
But they looked awful against Florida State, and then they looked incredible in Athens against Georgia, at least for 3 quarters.
I think if you take the totality of the season and you approach it from so 2 things here. If you take the totality of the season and you approach it from the point of view of if a team is in a conference championship and they are in our playoff rankings going into that, it's going to have to go a long way for us to punish them by dropping them out of the rankings. Yes, Alabama deserves to.
And the more I think about this, I don't know how you guys feel. And I get, look, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Oklahoma sat home. They didn't play. Alabama looked really bad against Georgia. Why should they be punished? Well, why are we even playing the game then?
Yeah.
Like the crown an SEC champion. That's the only reason that game is for. It's the SEC championship game. That's the only reason you're playing
have co-champions. Like there's no reason to play it if it really doesn't count.
That's not the format this year, though. The format is there's an SEC championship game.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about moving forward. I mean, there is really no reason to play this game if we're going to say, okay, you're not going to get punished at all. Like you basically can lay down. You could basically not play players.
TV ratings and money for the league is why you play the game. On the injury thing, yes, everybody's got injuries. But Alabama played this game without their starting running back, their starting tight end, their starting left guard, who didn't play. Brown has told us many times he saw the ankle. I've seen it down at Auburn, or Parker Brailsford shouldn't be playing. You can go through the guys who are playing hurt. LT Overton didn't play. Wasn't Alabama's normal team. I think eventually when the season's over with, we'll hear about Ty Simpson and why his play has looked the way it's looked lately. You don't talk about a lot of that stuff before the selection committee comes out because it gives them a reason not to put you in. Now that they're in, it'll be interesting to see real conversations about who's hurt, how they're hurt. Everybody does have injuries. This team is on the higher end of impactful injuries compared to others.
And let me say this, they can really only get healthier from this point. I mean, I know once you get into a game in Norman, then maybe you lose somebody there, but I'm just talking about any rest is going to be good rest for Alabama and for Kalen DeBoer. If I'm Indiana, though, I hate seeing this because, Alabama now is a short favorite in Norman. And if they win that game just with the talent they have, again, because I think they are somewhat schizophrenic, if everything pops, Indiana will only be a 4.5 favorite over Alabama.
Because you go neutral
if
side.
Alabama wins the game.
You go neutral side at that point. You don't even get the home field advantage. Brown, I just mentioned this with Luke's about an hour ago when Monday Morning Live was starting. But Indiana's the number 1 overall seed. Ohio State's the number 2 overall seed. I'd rather have the 4 draw in Texas Tech. I mean, Indiana's going to play Alabama or Oklahoma. Either one of those defenses are really good. And I know Indiana just beat maybe the best defense in the country in Ohio State, but those are 2 really good defenses there. You're going to have to navigate and win after a month off of your offense playing. And Ohio State's going to play Miami and Texas A&M, who are physically defensively, but they have all sorts of offensive speed on the perimeter. I'd much rather have Texas Tech draw on this thing.
Well,
I'd rather play Oregon.
Yeah, and they're in the orange, correct? Am
Texas
I correct
Tech's
about that?
in the orange. Yeah.
So Oregon, after playing a home game against James Madison, is going to travel all the way across the country, and I don't think a lot of Oregon fans are going to travel all the way across the country. And boy, I bet you Texas Tech fans will travel to Miami. This is all new for them. So you're gonna have kind of a home game feel, and I agree with you. Oregon has looked very, very pedestrian.
Look where Ohio State's going to have to play Texas A&M if they win that game. They're going to play them in the Cotton
Bowl. Yeah, it's going to be a home game for Texas A&M.
Are
now,
you
Ohio
kidding?
State travels well.
They do, but
Well, and I would say the same for Georgia and Ole Miss. You don't think Ole Miss fans are going to try to take over New Orleans? There are a ton of Ole Miss fans already there.
Yeah.
That's going to be at
and
best.
God forbid if Tulane wins
Yeah,
the game.
I still think Georgia likes their draw a lot.
I think Georgia's by far and away the better team. If we're just talking about the crowd makeup, that's going to be at best a 50-50
yeah,
for
Texas
Georgia.
A&M in the Cotton Bowl is very, very interesting.
It's a precarious situation for Ohio State there in that setup. The Georgia setup, they're the 3 seed. Ole Miss outplayed them for 3 quarters, and it was a unbelievable fourth quarter meltdown by Lane's offense and great effort by Kirby's offense to win that game in Athens this year.
But how different is everything without Lane Kiffin? It's a legitimate concern.
And
Pete
it's different
Golding,
for Georgia too.
Yeah, absolutely, because
they're better.
Georgia's much better than they were at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like if Tulane, I know they were +5 in turnovers on Friday night. But if they can get in that plus turnover margin, the way they're playing right now, and again, I don't think they're very good, but they find ways to win. And I know that was a complete skull dragging the last time they played, but that's kind of an interesting game.
Yeah, to your point, Pete Golding taking over. Again, I say this a lot. We like Pete, but this is unprecedented. Who has taken over a coaching job and his first game is in the college football playoff? We've only had it, a limited number of years, so it's kind of hard to thread that needle.
It's a lot like the guy at Michigan that took over for the Wolverines.
Steve Fisher?
And ran through the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. So it would feel that way.
Yeah.
I would 100% agree with you.
They're hoping Pete Golding is as good at this as Fisher was.
Ole Miss is going to be coached by an Ole Miss man.
Yeah, I don't consider Ole Miss one of those teams. They've got the same odds as Alabama to win the national championship. I think there's 5 or 6 teams that have shorter odds. I don't know how many teams you guys think can win this thing.
And that's where I wanted to go back to your original question.
Let's do a couple of sponsors to get back to the original question. Our show today being brought to you by one of our new sponsors, our friend at Crane U. You got to get out there and do some driving with our friends at Crane U.
Yeah, I don't know if we've got the video here.
Oh, we do.
Do we ever have video? Look at that.
Yeah. And I wish I had my copy points here. Down the way where I could tell you more about it.
Yeah, we're just going to get a good look at them right now.
We'll get a look at it, and then I will go see Bo and break, and I will get those copy points. But, Bo and I both in Cranes there, and they are basically training crane instructors. They got me through this little maze, so I can't imagine what they would do to somebody that is really focused and wants a career in this. And that's some high-priced machinery, friends.
You ain't kidding.
Yeah.
You ain't kidding.
But look at how delicate I was with the
wow, I am quite impressed.
I only knocked a couple of tennis balls over.
Yeah.
So basically, the great industry where you could go operate cranes and all these, like Nashville's got 62 cranes on their skyscrapers all the time.
That's a low number.
Yeah, so Crane U can train you for that field right there. We'll tell you how you can be a part of Crane U coming up later in the show. And also, our friends Alexander Shannara, Brownie, if you can tell us about them.
I absolutely can. Shannara.com is where you go. Shannara.com when you're in need of any sort of legal assistance. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shannara.com. Shannara.com. That is the website to go to get started with our guy, Alexander Shannara, who is Birmingham born, Birmingham bred. And what he wanted to do was build a firm that could take care of his city of Birmingham. And he has done just that. In fact, to the tune of $2 billion, more than $2 billion recovered there with Alexander Shannara. They've done this for more than 24 years in Birmingham. They've grown to more than 150 lawyers, more than 500 dedicated team members. You can see more at Shannara.com, Shannara.com.
All right, Brandon, you were going to make a point about something.
Well, I wanted to, kind of based on what Lance was talking about with the odds to win this thing, and you asked, does Alabama deserve to be in this? Or, should they have been in this? I would say, especially Saturday night, if I'm making that call, can I determine the national championship without this Alabama team involved and it be a legitimate national championship? Absolutely. This team does not look like a team that can play for the national championship by any stretch. But
snip that out for me.
But I can say it does not look currently like a team that can play for the national championship by any stretch. But I would say the same thing.
Don't snip that word.
I would say the same thing of Tulane. I would say the same thing of James Madison. I would say the same thing of Miami. I would say the same thing probably of Ole Miss. I would say the same thing of probably Texas A&M. You can say that about a lot of teams. If you're going to have 12 teams or if you're going to expand to 16, you're going to have teams in there that don't look like they can win a national championship. So, if you say, well, Alabama doesn't look like a national championship team, well, half this field doesn't.
No, but based on your argument, here's where the problem is. Notre Dame can win the national championship, and that's what's unfair. And look, people can say, look, it's their schedule, no conference affiliation. I've said it. I remember, in our Airbnb in L.A., and I don't know how long ago that was, a month or so ago, I was like, this Notre Dame team is much better than last year's, and I think they can win a national championship. And it just sucks how they tease Notre Dame.
It does. That's on the committee.
It's like, why would you not lay it down early? And I know, with conference affiliations, you have this team beat this team, but that team beat this team. But it was pretty, black and white with Miami beating them. So why not have it from the jump? And then you kind of know.
Strength of record. I mean, they're 44 and 45, and they're 13 and 16. 4 like opponents, head-to-head win from Miami. You line them up straight side by side, and it's virtually even. And you got to go head-to-head at that point.
We don't need a committee. The committee's the dumbest idea in the world. And they're going to sell you a lot of bad stuff. But for Hunter Yurachek to go on there with Reese, and Reese questioned him hard on this, for him to go on there with Reese and say, to answer the head-to-head question, well, we couldn't really evaluate it until they were right next to one another. So when BYU was between them, that head-to-head, God, I wish we could consider head-to-head, but there's BYU right there between them. But then once BYU was going in there next to each other, now magically head-to-head gets considered. That might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard anybody say that you think I'm going to believe. Instead of just saying, hey, Reese, listen, we are humans on this committee, and we badly overreacted to Miami's loss. And week after week, we've tried to correct that, and we could not, in good conscience, put out the final rankings without making the ultimate correction there. So I'm sorry for Notre Dame, but that's why we jumped Miami in there. They beat you head-to-head.
Yeah,
that's the honest
answer.
Own
it if you're going to do it, yeah.
Yeah, but instead, he's on there with Reese saying, until they got next to one another, we couldn't use the head-to-head. I'm like, what kind of sense does that? That makes there's not a universe where that makes any sense. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And Reese essentially said that to him, and he never could really correct it because there's no correcting it. They screwed it up.
Now, Notre Dame is choosing not to go to a bowl game. But to your point, LT, Pete Bavacqua says that Tuesday night show is an absolute joke, a farce, and it does not make sense to have to go out and try to explain the ratings every week, the rankings every week, because you do talk yourself into circles and paint yourself into a corner. But Marcus Freeman said the room was full of shock and sadness. Bavacqua says this will not deter Notre Dame from remaining an independent because a lot of Notre Dame circles quickly rallied around their independence flag and said, this is the establishment trying to force us into a conference. And Bavacqua says this only intensifies our determination to stay independent. And this is why we stay independent, what has happened to us. And they're opting to not go to the Pop-Tart Bowl. I will remind everybody, Notre Dame did not play in a bowl game from 1925 to 1968 because, in their words, they were exhibition games that served no purpose. Yeah. And so they chose not to play in bowl games from 25-68. And in this situation, that's absolutely what this would have been for them. They feel like they're a playoff team. Going to play in the Pop-Tart Bowl against BYU only opens the door for BYU to beat them and for everybody to say, see,
look, I know there's going to be no excitement, no buzz, but, for these players that want to compete, for the seniors that won't play at the next level, for their final opportunity to go out in that uniform, I know it would have been a little flat, but, I was sitting around the hotel lobby Saturday before the game and looking at how excited Alabama fans were, and I was just thinking, again, I know it always comes back to the Rams, but, even if it is an exhibition game, whether it's the SEC championship game or one of these bowl games, those fan bases want to see it. They get excited about it. They travel. They want to see their brand out there. I think they should have played, but to each their own. And, I'm sure at that point all of those guys didn't want to play in this game. But, I think you kind of owe it to the fan base, and I think for guys that want to compete.
But then your school president comes out and says, we decided not to let ESPN make any more money off our backs. Yeah. I mean, he says those words.
Yeah.
So it became very personal.
It did. The perception is there are 5 SEC teams in this bracket out of the 12, and ESPN and ABC have the SEC contract, and they have most of the bowl games, almost all of them. They have that contract too. And Notre Dame says, not a dime. You're not going to make a dime off of us.
Well, what if NBC had a bowl?
Yeah, they might do it then.
They'd probably play in it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's the sad reality, right?
And the truth is, they would have loved for ESPN to make money off their backs had it been in the playoffs. They just weren't going to do it in a bowl game.
Yep. Or if they were coming off a couple of 6-6 years, they'd love to be going to the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Yeah,
and really, if you're going to treat them fairly, at this point, I would never invite them again.
Well, just 2 years ago, they were in the Sun Bowl, so this is a new stance for them. And by the way, I do not believe it's a permanent stance. I mean, Notre Dame fans, I made a joke about it yesterday. I got a lot of Notre Dame fans on social media telling me this is the new world of Notre Dame. I'm like, no, you'll be back in a Sun Bowl. You'll be in a Pinstripe Bowl.
Do you think Alabama would have turned it down if they would have been
Not a chance.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so.
Not a chance.
I mean, Kansas State and Iowa State did.
And paid $500,000.
But you've got new coaches coming in, so at least you got that excuse.
Yeah.
No,
they turned it down knowing they were going to pay a fine to turn it down. I was surprised so many 5 and 7 teams turned it down. I don't want to do the whole show in the first segment here. Later on, we'll talk about where the bowls are and all of that. Back to Alabama being in after we tell you about a couple of our great sponsors. One of them is Lance's Lock, lanceslock.com, brought to you by our friends at Hemphill.
Yeah, not the best weekend. We did hit our big 7-star again yesterday with the Green Bay Packers. Boy, it was a tight game.
It was a fun game.
It was a fun game, though, and I think Chicago did at least show that, hey, we do belong.
Yeah.
But another play tonight, Monday Night Football with the Eagles and the Chargers. We will have that side up and available for you. You can get that free play every single day at lanceslock.com. It is always brought to you by our friends at Hemphill Services. Trust the name Birmingham's trust since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, cooling, any of those issues arise in your home or business. They are ready to serve you. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
And our friends at the Pants Store, your chance to enhance the holiday season with that perfect gift under the tree for that young adult in your life, or something for you too. They got great gear for all ages for Alabama and Auburn fans, the polos, the hats, the sweatshirts, the quarter zips, and so much more. Famous name brands like Horn Legend, Cutter and Buck, Antigua and Gentile. Nothing says War Eagle or Roll Tide like the Pants Store, and all the great gifts for the ladies as well, including the boots and the dresses and the rompers, all right there with free alterations and free gift wrapping. They'll ship it to you, but they got stores in Huntsville and Auburn, Hoover and Birmingham, and in Tuscaloosa, but pantstore.com. I will tell everybody, I've already done a show with Lugs today. My throat, I did yesterday morning, Saturday night on the drive back, my throat started to really get scratchy and stuff. So at some point, it may be a Ryan Brown drive show here, and I'll sit over here and just react.
You call me into the pen, man, when you need me. I'm ready. I'm warmed up and ready.
When I can't finish, I will let you know.
Yeah.
Now to Alabama's reaction. Here's Kalen DeBoer in Tuscaloosa yesterday after the selection show in his second year getting Alabama back into the playoffs.
Important day for our program, getting a chance to have a berth in the CFP, the playoffs here, just something our guys been working for, going back really to being in January, so 11 months, and, the work paying off and everything we did this season leading to this opportunity. Obviously, a team that we know well with Oklahoma, one that came here and obviously was a battle, was a physical game, and came out on the wrong side. But looking forward to third meeting in less than 2 years, or really just probably 12 or 13 months. And so each team knows what to expect, know each other well, and know it'll be a hard-fought game.
Yeah, we'll talk later about the impact R. Mason Thomas can have. He didn't play in the other one, and Alabama trying to get healthy. But for Kalen DeBoer to get this team to the playoffs, I know Notre Dame is upset. Miami's happy. It was important for Mario Cristobal to get Miami in this thing, too.
Oh, yeah.
But for Kalen DeBoer, this is a big, big moment in his time in Tuscaloosa to get to this point. I know the goals for Alabama fans are higher, but to be part of this party was the next step for him.
It was. I mean, going into this year, if you would have said, hey, Alabama gets the 8 seed, I think Alabama fans would be like, okay, well, we got a shot. The way it kind of played out in the month of November, though, with them limping in, I think Alabama fans still don't know if this is the guy. And again, you guys know how big I am on Kalen DeBoer. It has been a little shaky this year. I don't really get it. I know injuries were a big part of this past Saturday. But if Alabama loses round one, I think we're going to be back to, like, what's the expectation for next year? I think this season is really going to fall flat if they don't win in Norman. If they're able to beat Oklahoma, get to a Rose Bowl against the number one seed, they play a hell of a game there, maybe lose or win, then I think it feels a little different. But I think if they're one and done in this, it's going to feel like this season wasn't a successful season.
I would agree with that. You're going to end up with matching 9-4s if you lose this game at Oklahoma. But, well, I guess it would be 10-4 this year, 9-4 last year. But 10-4 with a loss in the SEC championship game and a loss in the college football playoffs is nowhere close to Alabama's standard, but it is an improvement from where you were last year.
It is. I think the biggest concern right now Alabama fans have over Kalen DeBoer is the fact that for the better part of 20 years, I guess, how long was Saban there? 17 years? 17 years. For the better part of 17 years, you never really got beat down. If you lost, it was generally at the horn. It was an exceptional performance by somebody, and it was just like one of those great games where you walked out of the stadium and you're like, man, I tell you what, we had no answer for Johnny Manziel today. That tough loss, right? I mean, you've gotten beaten one-sided by Oklahoma last year, Florida State this year, Georgia. I mean, it's happening more than you ever had it happen in 17 years, and it's hard for Alabama fans to digest watching what you watch Saturday night.
Well, especially when we talk about parity now, like all these one-possession games, like how it mirrors the NFL. Well, they have been getting walked off the field at times.
There's times they've been getting walked off the field. I don't know how much of that, Jim, you can erase in this playoffs. But to Lance's point, if you go to Oklahoma and exact revenge there, and then if you find a way to beat Indiana and all of a sudden you're in the semifinals, I think Alabama fans leave this feeling like, okay, it's headed in the right direction. It feels like it's back on track now in the semifinals.
Yeah, I want to give you one more Kalen DeBoer reaction here. Cut 5, Tyler, if you will. Kalen DeBoer on whether being in the SEC championship game is a disadvantage because it did. I mean, everybody, and we'll talk about the survival of the championship games later in the show because I have a whole segment built on what died this weekend. But for Alabama, you guys would agree, everybody had them in the playoffs before this past weekend.
Yes.
And then the way they looked against Georgia in the loss is what brought it into question. Here's Kalen DeBoer.
It's such a valued thing here, especially in the SEC, to win the conference championship and to be in that moment, be in that platform. Obviously, we on the wrong end of it, but that's something that's above me. We'll have to continue to evaluate that, but I think I still want to have that be a part of it. And the question I think mainly is like, how is it going to impact you? And us being in the playoff, hopefully gives people hope that you can continue to have these conference championships. Maybe tweak a few things to make sure you got the right teams in them each and every year. Kind of think about other conferences and that it can mean something both in that moment and also, have a positive impact or, what you think it should be going to the playoff.
Yeah. Good answer from a guy who needed to say that, but truth serum, they would have been better off not playing this week because whose ankle would have gotten a little bit better with an extra week?
Parker Brailsford.
Yeah. Whose back would have gotten a little bit better?
Ty Simpson.
Yeah. Who's would have gone from questionable maybe to probable? Josh Cuevas, a little faster. Jam Miller, maybe a little closer back. That extra week could have helped out this team a whole lot, and they could have still been the 9 seed. He has to say that, and winning the SEC means a lot. By the way, if we'd had co-champions, Alabama would be co-champions of the SEC.
And this wouldn't be a debate at all.
Yeah.
On the surface, it looks like probably the worst draw you could get. I mean, we've already seen it, so we kind of know how that game played out. But when your offense is struggling to this degree, and then you are playing arguably the best defense in college football on the road, that seems like a high mountain to climb. But, I mean, we saw how it played out in Tuscaloosa. Oklahoma's offense is as challenged or more challenged than Alabama's. So, there's a reason Alabama's favored. I mean, Vegas still believes Alabama's one of the best 5 or 6 teams.
I love this draw. I would not want to be. I would not want to be anywhere else.
And they were obviously squarely in this, getting the 9 seed. You know, it was really not ever a debate with Alabama, I don't think.
Yeah, and we'll talk later on just about where Indiana is too. But Brownie, I love this draw because you have offensively challenged Oklahoma, and you know what you need when you're offensively challenged?
A team that's offensively challenged.
I know Oklahoma's defense is unbelievably good, but you don't need anybody who's going to put up a lot of points when you're struggling to put up points.
Yeah, and they did nothing against Alabama's defense in the first game, and Alabama's defense is still playing. It's getting overshadowed because they're losing games.
Yeah,
I say they're losing games. They lost Saturday, and they're struggling in some games. Their defense is playing really well.
I mean, there was a 21-yard and a 12-yard touchdown drive in that blowout.
There was nothing on Alabama's defense Saturday.
Yeah.
Georgia didn't even get 300 yards.
Yeah.
Georgia didn't get 300 yards in a game they won 28-7. You tell me how any of that's on the defense.
And not jumping ahead for Alabama or Oklahoma. You never know who that team that gets the bye and gets.
It didn't work last year.
Yeah, it runs the rhythm out a little bit. I mean, Oregon, looked not unbeatable, but they were undefeated, just won the Big Ten championship. They get the bye, they're off. And Ohio State, who had just lost to Michigan, runs through it.
Yeah. Fernando Mendoza and Indiana are playing great football, but having a month off and then have to go out there and recreate it against a team that
will be playing with a chip on their shoulder, either Oklahoma or Bama.
So tell me, remind me of this if you can. Now, there is a massive caveat to what I'm about to say, but the national champion came from the 8-9 game last year.
Yes.
Ohio State lost its last game before the playoffs, just like Alabama and Texas A&M have done this year.
And the difference with them is they didn't even make their conference championship game.
That's right.
They looked a little different.
They did. I don't disagree with you. That's one of the massive caveats. There's probably more than one. What were the odds? Was Ohio State the betting favorite going into the
last
playoffs?
year?
Yeah.
No, I think they were like the third shortest. I remember we did our bracket, and I still had Ohio State winning it, and that was going to be my point. Like, I don't think anybody's going to have Alabama winning this thing.
I just wanted to
So
remind,
it was still somewhat predictable that Ohio State had a really good shot at winning it.
The apple to apple is Texas A&M this year. They lost their rivalry game. They were not in the conference championship. Now they're the 7 seed.
Now, the big caveat that I've referenced is we had the seeding screwed up last year. The top 4 seeds weren't the best 4 teams.
That's
right. So that's the big caveat in the point I'm making here. But the point I was trying to make, really the broader point, is Ohio State didn't exactly storm into this thing last year, and they won it. There's something, and we see this all the time in the college basketball tournament, all the time. There are teams that limp into the college. Alabama's a great example of that. Alabama's first Final Four, or their only Final Four run to date, they looked awful going into the tournament. Awful. And it just clicked. I mean, that happens in sports sometimes. It's going to have to click a lot for Alabama to win a national championship. But sometimes, just whether it's the rest, the health, just the mindset of, hey, this is a whole new season. What we've done is left behind. There are times that can matter.
Well, and imagine this. Oklahoma or Alabama is going to get the Heisman Trophy winner. And a lot of times that doesn't work out good in the postseason for the Heisman Trophy winner.
No doubt.
Just saying.
Historically, that is not the case. Diego Pavia, by the way, did win the Unitas Award over the weekend, but it is expected that Fernando Mendoza will be the Heisman Trophy winner when it's announced coming up this Saturday after the Army-Navy game as college football continues this weekend. Joel Klatt's our only guest on the show today. Joel will come in and probably tell us that Alabama didn't belong in. I don't know what Joel will say. Maybe he thinks Alabama belongs in. But we'll talk to Klatt coming up at the final hour of the show, 11 Central. Or if you're watching with us on replay or listening to us on Apple and Spotify, it'll be hour number 3 to start off that later in the show. When we come back, props to Indiana, props to Georgia, and some of the things that may have died this weekend. The show being brought to you by a couple of great sponsors. One of them is our friends at Bojangles.
You can make a Bojangles. Hey, I did on the way home from Atlanta yesterday morning. I hit the Bojangles right there in Douglasville, and I got that Bowberry biscuit, that blueberry biscuit with a glaze on it, and a chicken filet in the middle. Oh, my gosh, what a tremendous breakfast on the way home from Atlanta. You can make that your stop. But also, don't forget, the catering they've got right there at Bojangles. Your holiday party's coming up. Let Bojangles give you a unique holiday party with those great hand-breaded chicken tenders, all the sides that go with it, the biscuits, the tea, all of that from Bojangles. And don't forget the Bo Bites, hand-breaded chicken tender bites. You can dip them with the peach honey pepper sauce there as well at Bojangles. It is terrific. You can always make a bow time, whether it is a football watch party, a tailgate, a holiday party. There's my biscuit. Man, that thing was so, so good. That Bowberry biscuit with the glaze and the chicken filet in the middle. Breakfast on the way to work, lunch, dinner tonight. Always make it bow time.
Hey, listen up. If you've got a small to mid-sized business right here in Alabama, maybe Georgia, East Tennessee, or the Carolinas, you're looking for that CFO service designed for businesses that need expertise, call our friend Rod Smallwood at Fractional Financial. Rod and his team provide expertise in cash management, budgets and projections, accounting, payroll, annual reports. Fractional Financial does it all. Not your typical contract CFO service. Fractional Financial works with clients face-to-face so they can make informed, data-driven decisions to get their business to the next level. Contact them today. Call Rod and that team. Tell them the next round sent you. 704-614-2083. That's 704-614-2083. Or visit them online, fractionalfinancial.net.
Have you been injured in an 18-wheeler accident, company truck accident, car accident, or work-related accident? Call Alabama's largest personal injury firm. Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys will fight for every dollar you deserve, and it won't cost you a dime. Trust me. What do you say, man?
Call me, Alabama.
Call 659-777-7777 or go to shinara.com.
No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
No bowl game for Notre Dame or Iowa State or Kansas State or Auburn or Baylor or UCF or Florida State or Rutgers or Temple or Kansas. They all said no. Finally, App State said yes at 5-7 to come play Georgia Southern here in the Birmingham Bowl. More on that after I remind you our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, there to help you stay on top of your health, guys. As you age from your 20s to your 30s and 40s and 50s, early detection can help you literally save your life. 205-930-0920. 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. For over 70 years, the most compassionate care for men in the central Alabama area. They've got 16 locations to help you out, but they do handle the urinary tract for women as well, all right there, Urology Centers of Alabama, with the best urologist around. Everything from prostate health to kidney stones, vasectomies for the guys. That's 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. Okay, I've got 3 things I'm going to ask you if it died this weekend.
Okay.
The bowl system as we know it, did it die this weekend? Thoughts? With all the opt-outs.
I guess I'm going to need a definition. I don't want to be difficult on you here, but the bowl system as we know it, like over the last 30 or 40 years, or over the last couple years?
Over the last 10 to 15 years, where we have so many bowl games. We have 82 spots.
Yeah, you'll have fewer bowl games moving forward. Now, look, my stance is probably not the popular stance here, but I think bowl games for quite a while, especially once you started a 2-team BCS, a 4-team playoff, and now a 12-team playoff, bowl games are exhibition games. That's what they are. They're exhibition games. The only thing they mean anything to are the players that get to play in it, the fans that travel, whoever's betting on it, the TV ratings, those things. But overall, they don't really matter. They're exhibition games. And I think they'll remain exhibition games, Lance, outside of the playoffs. But I do think you'll have fewer of them now.
I am blown away. A lot of these teams turned it down just based on this. You get the 15 extra practices. You've got some accountability for guys in your locker room instead of them going other directions and looking to transfer, enter the portal. To me, it almost screams the teams that turned it down have no organization and no structure, and they don't have control of their guys. Because why would you turn it down?
Well, that included Auburn with a new staff that was coming in. First, on the big question that we're talking about, let's answer that one first. I mean, you made a point that Iowa State, Kansas State, new coaches coming in. Notre Dame obviously sending a message. For the 5 and 7 teams that started to pass on it like Auburn, it's a new coach coming in.
It is, yeah. I mean, you can use that excuse, but at the same time, even if the coach is not going to be involved, if Alex Golish, was staying away, which I don't think he would, you at least get to hold meetings. You get to have some accountability.
15 practices.
The 15 practices is huge.
I would want to evaluate that if I was Alex Golish.
Especially the quarterback situation.
I'd like to know what I had on the field, not just looking at tape. Those 15 practices, to me, may let me know what I need to be working on in the portal as we do this. We probably could figure that out in second practice.
Yeah, that's a good point on the portal part. Yeah. But what if, hear me out here, one of the things the NCAA does is eliminate the spring structures we have it now, and we're able to do OTAs over the summer the way the NFL does. All of a sudden, I don't know that 15 bowl practices will matter that much.
It doesn't, but me evaluating what's on my roster is why I would want it if I was Alex Golish.
If you're a new coach, yes.
Yeah, or
that's a very unique situation.
I would want to go in there and say, well, I mean, I can see Deuce Knight looked really good against, was it Mercer? Yeah. I'd like to see what he looks like in practice with me putting him through the drill. I may love him. I may not need a quarterback. Yeah. He may be my quarterback. But I got 15 practices to figure that out.
But I might also want to bring Byron Brown in if I don't have this kind of rapport, if I don't feel like this is going to be the guy that I believe that can lead my team. I'm just really surprised because you do have more of an evaluation period. And again, you get to hold those guys accountable instead of not knowing where they are, who they're talking to.
Now, Jackson Arnold's portal, Perry Thompson's portal, there's several guys that are hitting the portal. That's going to be across college football, and there are teams that will play in the college football playoff that have guys who have already decided
100%
that we are going somewhere else.
Yeah, or might even sit out.
They may.
Is a strong arm maneuver, but anyway, go ahead.
They may, but there are guys who are already in their mind. They've already made a deal. Their representatives or them themselves to play somewhere else next year that are on playoff teams.
Yeah, I'm almost not all of them, but I think some of these 5 and 7s probably couldn't field. Yeah, they had safe numbers to actually travel.
Yeah, you would get into that situation. Here's what I'd like to see happen with the Bulls, Brown. I want it to go back to the way it was.
Which was?
That was really no conference affiliation.
Okay.
Like there's no worry about the rose, the orange, the cotton, the sugar, the peach, and the fiesta because they're built into the playoffs. And they will stay built into the playoffs even as we go to 16, right? They'll still be in it. So those bowls are fine. I want to eliminate all these secondary bowls, go back to, having a citrus, one in Tampa if you want. The communities that want it to support it, the Sun Bowl, the ones that have been around, let's keep those and let's go back to the way it was, just a handful of bowls. And it allows those guys and women, but mostly guys in those cool blazers that show up in the press box throughout the year.
The Fiesta Bowl was on site.
Yeah.
Saw some of those guys.
I remember that being in the newspaper, like, here are the bowl representatives that were there.
So those guys would roll in, and they would wine and dine the school administration and the coaches. And you know what would happen often? Before you even finished the regular season, it was – hey, Alabama, we want you to come to the Sun Bowl. But even before you played Auburn, Alabama was accepting a Sun Bowl bid.
You know how to make this really interesting?
Yeah.
What have we been talking about a couple of weeks ago, the Eras tournament out in Las Vegas? Why would you not get whoever your presenting sponsor is? Hey, look, if we're going to make these really viable where people are interested, depending on the tier, $1 million to the winning team, and they cut it up however they see fit.
Yeah.
And then coming in, like everybody's all about playing because they want to win some money. But I think you've got to have like a monetary carrot hanging out there.
And I do think that the enticement of NIL money would be really good. Freeing it up to where it's not fourth place SEC team versus third place Big Ten team. You got to get away from that. And get back to, for instance, Vanderbilt this year. Very attractive to my bowl site. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Very attractive because they've had a
Excited
historic
fan base.
year.
Yep.
They would come. They'd be pumped to play in the game. That would be good. BYU would be one of those. I don't know where Texas's head is, but, Texas is usually an attractive team for TV ratings. I'd want them probably to come for the Arch Manning show. There's a handful of teams that have had really good years that are not in the playoffs that would be attractive for my bowl in the community if they're not slotted into having to go play in the Pop-Tart Bowl because they were the third place team in the ACC. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's get back to where it's free-willing and about the community that's hosting it again, lobbying and getting some unique matchups. I think teams would still be interested to go play in Las Vegas just for the Las Vegas trip for your program. That could be a good bowl site. To play in SoFi, the LA Bowl. It doesn't have a great history, but to play in that building, to go to LA, I think that could be a viable bowl.
Where are you guys as far as, spectators on this? Like your excitement meter? Like I used to, like the bowls were about to start and really didn't miss a bowl, caught at least a piece of it. And, for my side hustle, it's still a big deal in that regard. But as far as getting 3 hours of enjoyment watching an Alamo Bowl, I don't feel it anymore.
Because there's too many of them, and I know Brown used to say there's no such thing as too many football games, but it's just so many of them that I don't feel an urgency to watch. When there were only about 14 bowl games, it was a big deal because I've got 14 games left in the season to watch college football. I'm going to make sure I watch the Liberty Bowl.
But and I was about to bring this up. I don't know how many bowls ESPN showed last year. A lot, though. 35-ish because...
Well, there's 82 slots, so you do the math.
41.
That's 41. CBS has the Sun Bowl. I think CW had a bowl game. So let's say 35 just to be fair. 4 of them were less than 1 million viewers.
Yeah.
Only 4. So they get viewership for these things. ESPN does. It's the reason they're there.
Yeah.
It fills the slot for ESPN. It gets viewership. So they do have some value to ESPN.
So that's my thought on the bowls, and I do think the way we know it died a little bit this past weekend.
Did Birmingham even fill theirs? Or
they did.
That was the last one. That was the
App
one
State
that was fighting.
Georgia Southern.
Yeah, it's actually a rivalry game, deeper than hate, or I think it's the rivalry game.
That's what we call that.
Deeper than hate, something like that.
So I think the bowl system that we've had over the last decade probably died over the weekend.
Yeah. A couple more things after I remind you the show being brought to you today by our friends at Johnston RV Center, johnstonrvcenter.com.
I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur is where you find Johnston RV Center. We feature this fifth wheel right now. Scott is showing it to you. How about getting a fifth wheel for just $43,800 or $399 a month with zero down? and approved credit. You can do that right there at Johnston RV Center. We show you these to show you that they've got something in everyone's price range. Also, RV warranty forever. Make sure you got a lifetime warranty on everything that is new or qualifying pre-owned. You can get that at Johnston RV Center. You can see more on all of that I'm talking about and get some of that pricing at johnstonrvcenter.com or visit them in person, I-65 exit 304 in Coleman. 334 indicator. It is Johnston RV Center.
Where we currently sit, mid-40s, a little misty rain, perfect chilly weather, and you can get it from our friends at Odie's Tavern. Rodney Davis doing that incredible food for almost 4 decades now. The award-winning wings, delicious burgers. I mentioned the chili, fantastic sandwiches, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. If you're looking for a place to watch Monday Night Football with the Eagles and Chargers, get in, see Will Haver and that great staff. 2 locations, the original in Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. Birmingham Institution is Odie's Tavern.
I told this to several groups that I was around in Atlanta over the weekend. And I think I mentioned it to you too, Brownie, but I believe we're closer and closer to the Super League than we've ever been before. And Notre Dame being left out of this was another step in that direction. And we are going to get there where it's run by the SEC, the Big Ten, and Notre Dame. And it'll be a Super League. And we're as close to that. I don't want to sound like a 1970s or 80s TV show talking about Armageddon and the day the nuclear bombs all went off and ended Earth. But we're that close, one step closer to that happening, the Super League. Backed up by the fact that Pete Bavacqua just now said on the Dan Patrick Show, quote, the ACC has done permanent damage to the relationship with Notre Dame during this college football playoff debate. That from the sitting athletic director at Notre Dame, the ACC has done permanent damage to the relationship with Notre Dame.
He's blaming them for Miami beating them head-to-head and getting in front of them?
There's probably who's on the committee from the ACC? Is it word leaked out that whoever was on that committee was like, Notre Dame doesn't deserve to be in? I mean, I read it more like that.
Maybe, I guess. But there again, the only reason Miami's in is you lost to them. Otherwise, you're easy in.
Dennis Dodd is watching the interview. The ACC has done permanent damage to its relationship with Notre Dame during this college football debate.
Well, they weren't going to join the ACC in football anyway.
No, they weren't. And their football arrangement with the ACC hurts them.
It does. Playing the 4 games a year that
they get some crappy games out of that, which, look, Alabama was helped by the fact that they're in the SEC. Nobody is arguing that.
No.
That helped Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, they're in because of strength of schedule.
They're in because of strength of schedule, and their strength of schedule is what it is because they play in one of the 2 best conferences. This year, I think it's the best conference. But it's year in, year out, one of the 2 best conferences in college football. It's plain and simple. And Notre Dame, by choice, does not do that. And it hurts them more often than it helps them. Now, it helps them in the fact that it's normally a tailor-made schedule for 10-2. Maybe 11-1. But it hurts them also that if you get in a bind like they were in yesterday, you don't get help from being, God, they were in a strong conference. That helps them. That's something you willingly give up.
Notre Dame is not in because of the schedule they played. I mean, they're not in because they can't handle a snap on a PAT and then a non-holding call.
That hurt.
Those 2 plays.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, the PAT snap was the difference in the game.
Yep.
Drop ball.
Right.
Tyler Buckner.
It's Buckner. It's right in Buckner's hands, and he muffed it.
And
it's the only reason A&M.
And then the touchdown was a holding call. Not that Texas A&M couldn't have still scored, but that was a pretty big play. That loss is why they're not in today. But also, their strength of schedule down the stretch wasn't overwhelming. They beat USC, but compared to Alabama's resume, Alabama beat better teams in their stretch.
Their 4 games that they got from the ACC this year were NC State, who was bad.
Yeah.
Boston College, who was worse than bad.
Yep.
Pitt, who was the best of the ACC teams they played, but keep in mind, the week they played them, Pitt's own head coach was like, this game doesn't matter to us. We're trying to win the ACC.
Yeah. And Miami played them later on and beat them equal.
Right. And then
worse.
Syracuse, who was atrocious after they lost Angeli. So, I mean, that's the 4 games they got from that agreement with the ACC. That hurt more than it helped, for sure.
Yeah, look, and they didn't beat any team that are currently in the college football playoff. Alabama's got the win over Georgia. Georgia has the win over both Ole Miss and Alabama. Indiana's got wins over Oregon and Ohio State.
Yeah. So it's the bowl system, as we know it, died this past weekend. The setup, the way we have it right now in the college football playoffs, died this weekend. Coming up in January, we're going to do a new playoff system. And Pete Bavacqua says he's already got almost a IOU that if Notre Dame's ranked in the top 12 in the new system, whatever they come up with, Notre Dame will be in the playoffs.
He says they've got a memorandum of understanding signed by all the playoff commissioners that say that is the case. As long as they're ranked 12th. Like, so yesterday, if this had happened next year, there's no debate.
Yeah, they're in.
Well, what was really stupid is we have this loophole that allows James Madison in.
That's right.
With the five highest, five highest ranked conference champions automatically getting in.
They said yes to that, thinking we'll never have to enforce that.
And that, I mean, look, if James Madison's out and Notre Dame's in this, there's no argument from anybody. I mean, BYU would have a little bit of one, but it would be a very, very quiet argument.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt will probably have a better argument.
The ACC's to blame for having a crappy tiebreaker system. It should be head-to-head, and then your next one for a conference like the ACC should be who is your next highest-rated team, because it would have been Miami and Virginia, and then the winner of that game would have gone to the playoffs, and James Madison would be out, and we'd have no really big discussion. The discussion would have been, should Texas or Vandy been in over Notre Dame.
Did you hear McElroy? I don't know. We were live during the selection show, and I left it on for a little bit afterwards before the Dolphins kicked. And I don't know if you guys stuck around. I thought McElroy had a great solution to that. As long as we keep conference games, now getting everybody to agree on this would be one thing, but it is the right solution. Have an agreed upon. He said, I don't care what it is, if it's Sagarin ratings, if it's the playoff rankings, whatever. But an agreed-upon ranking that sets every conference's tiebreakers. So, in other words, you don't get like one conference doing it one way, one doing it another. The rankings, whichever one you agree on, that sets the tiebreak. So, in other words, Miami would have been in the ACC. Alabama would have been out of the SEC.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'd have had Georgia and Ole Miss, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you'd had Georgia and Ole Miss. If you just use the playoff rankings, Alabama would have benefited Alabama. They would have sat at home. They would have gotten healthy, and they'd have still been the 9 seed. Miami, it would have greatly benefited them. They would have been in the ACC championship they could have clinched a spot by beating Virginia.
Yeah,
would have, by the way.
And would have in all likelihood.
I wonder.
That's a great idea.
If Virginia ends up beating Duke in overtime, I think there's a good chance Notre Dame's in and Miami's out.
I kind of would,
because at that point James Madison's out. Virginia is a ranked auto,
right. And the ACC gets their blood.
Yep.
You said that during the live show. As soon as Duke.
Now maybe that was what they're upset about. Like the ACC needed to give more calls pro Virginia and anti Duke. I didn't watch enough of that game to know.
I didn't either. I was locked in on the Big Ten.
Yeah. That was my belief of why Duke should have been included instead of James Madison. And then Notre Dame and Alabama would have been in. Miami would have been the one left out.
But once they put
then you really have no country fighting you at that point. The ACC got theirs. Notre Dame got theirs.
I like my plus 410 though. Miami getting in. I wonder how many people ended up playing that.
I don't know.
No, that's really good. A big winner. Before we get to viewing menu and more college football conversation, what actually is going wrong with Alabama right now on the field. It is a concern for you. We'll talk about that to start the next hour. Before we do the viewing menu, I want to remind you our buddy Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing has a new service that really can help you out. He does all of his usual stuff. That includes a free no-cost roof inspection. You heard me. Free no-cost roof inspection. 205-542-3531. He's A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. And he and his wife own the company, locally owned for over 20 years at Storm Restoration Roofing. They do roofing replacement, storm damage repair, and so much more. All of that with Storm Restoration Roofing. But he's got this new thing called a soft wash where he can make your roof look better with a wash up there, because you get some staining that makes a healthy roof look old and outdated. And it actually is impacting some insurance claims, where satellite video makes it look like your roof is aged out or is at end of life. And Greg has been able to wash the roof, take pictures, and go to battle for you like he does with the insurance providers. So it's a soft wash that can remove staining and make your roof look younger and actually help it do its job a little better. Learn more about that, stormrestorationroofing.com, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook, and our friends at Michael's.
Yeah, hard to believe, just a couple of weeks out from Christmas. If you're looking for a great gift this holiday season, how about the gift of sight for somebody that wears the contacts or the glasses? Speaking from experience, I did that for like a decade. I was wasting money each and every year on that. I finally went in 2003, got the procedure done, only took 12 minutes for both eyes. 2015 vision, better than 2020. Was the end result for me. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. Make the phone call today. Ask for Amy, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
So over the weekend, I went to the Kill Bill double feature. It is both movies put together as it was originally intended to release, and I absolutely loved it. It cemented it as one of my favorite movies of all time, and I might go see it again this week.
Wow.
5 hours, right?
Yep, 5 hours in total.
Is there a piss break in there, or is it
There
just 5?
is.
Okay,
I asked
that's
him
good.
how many times you go to the bathroom.
It's got to be.
Yeah, it actually says piss break and
Does
big
it?
letters
Is that
on
what
the
they
screen.
say? Yeah. It's very handy. That way I know when to go. Okay.
Yes. But it was absolutely incredible. There's new footage, and it just really feels like it was originally made to be one movie, and the 4 hour or 4.5 hour runtime makes it feel even more epic and grand.
Yeah,
So,
you don't watch a lot of TV, but I know you're very familiar with Taylor Sheridan, but Landman has gotten awful. It's a really, really bad show. Without Billy Bob Thornton, it would be unwatchable, in my opinion. I don't know. Are you still watching Dudaway?
I am. I have not seen Sunday night's episode
Awful.
yet, but it.
You think it's leaking?
I said it
Yes.
after the first episode, and you agreed with me that nothing happened in the first episode, and really nothing has happened.
Yeah, they're
so far.
good at that. I mean, Taylor Sheridan's doing a really good job of nothing happening, and that's exactly what happened again last night.
he got $1 billion.
I was about to say
make
something.
nothing happen.
Yeah,
Well,
something's happening for him.
He might
Yeah.
be saving that content for NBC.
That's why I asked you guys that when they did that deal. I'm like, is that your fear that
Maybe.
he's going to hold all his good ideas for the $1 billion deal?
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like it.
But season 1 was really good.
Oh, it was. Yeah.
Paramount Plus has a new documentary out tonight called Predators. This is about the To Catch a Predator show, and it will cover the rise and fall of the show and Chris Hansen's different investigations. Because if you are familiar with how that show ended, it ended in a very dramatic and controversial way. And then finally on viewing menu today, you've got a Christmas movie double feature at 6 p.m. on the AMC channel. You can watch Scott's favorite Elf, and then after that you can watch one of Brooks's favorites, Four Christmases.
All right.
Well, there you go.
That's what we're watching as we move towards the holidays. A+ takes us to the top of the hour. Maybe you can give yourself a big gift this year.
Hey, why would you not do that? Make your home better for Christmas. It's a great Christmas gift to everyone and could really benefit you in the long run. It is Brad Bell, who I'm talking about here. And one thing Brad specializes in, actually 3 things he specializes in: master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closet remodels. Now, the reason that's important is Scott shows you some before and afters of the bathroom in my house. The reason it's important is because you spend a lot of time in those rooms. Think about how often you're in your master bathroom, in your kitchen. Your master bedroom closet can be so frustrating if it's not big enough or organized properly, and that's where Brad comes in. Now, the reason this is important, again, I want to tell you, it's not all he does, but it's what he specializes in. And the reason that is important is you spend time in those rooms, and when you go to sell your home, you can make some of the money back on those rooms. So get Brad to come look at your job like he did us. My wife scoured the internet and found Brad. I'm glad she did, because he did tremendous work for us. 205-422-1758 is the number to call Brad, 205-422-1758, or you can see more, AlabamaBathRemodels.com. That is AlabamaBathRemodels.com. It is our guy, Brad Bell.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Yo, kinfolk, what's good, man? Let me holler at you for a minute. You know how life can be life. You're out there chasing that dollar. Every dollar is accounted for going somewhere. Then all of a sudden, bam! Out of nowhere, a car accident. All I had to do was hit up my people at Alexander Shinara Trial Attorney. You already know when that dude Alex pulls up the trial, he shuts down the litigation situation. Yo, go to Shinara.com. Hit him up at 659-777-7777.
Call me, Alabama.
No representation that legal services provided are better than any other provider.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the next round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000. The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA-certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today, in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well done service.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hey, before we get back to football, one note, Joel Klatt likely not going to be with us next hour. Flight issues, as it happens in America occasionally. So we'll get Joel on soon to talk about the playoffs. Still a chance?
Yeah, depending on if his flight lands in time. It's a very short flight. He's flying from LA to Vegas. The entire football world's going to Vegas this weekend, or this week. And he had a spot to do it. I don't think it's going to work out today, but definitely tomorrow.
It was a commissioner. I was like, "You're going to jump on with us tomorrow to talk good or bad?" I can't. I'm going to be in Vegas. What is that? You don't have a telephone in Vegas?
They have them. But before we get back to football, Sleep Home Alabama brings you our basketball update. Don't sleep on some good basketball over the weekend. Number 12 Alabama routed UTSA 97-55. Jalil Bethea in his second game back, 21 points for him. The freshman London Jemison had 20. Phylon had 20. Amari Allen, 11. Reitzel had 10. They're getting healthy. Their next game is 8:30 Saturday night here in Birmingham against a team that will likely be number 1 in the country today when the AP poll comes out, Arizona. So Alabama will get to play number 1 Arizona here in Birmingham coming up this Saturday night, 8:30. That's Alabama's next game. Arizona, who was number 2, number 1 Purdue got beat by Iowa State. Biggest loss by an AP number 1 team at home in history. Iowa State beat Purdue 81-58 at Purdue.
Yeah, don't know how that happened, but
Iowa State's probably going to be number 2. Arizona's going to be number 1. They drilled Auburn on Saturday night, 97-68.
By the way, how good is this Big 12?
It's good.
Must be.
It's good. BYU's good. There's a bunch of them.
That was at McHale Center. That was a legit road game.
It was in Tucson, and afterwards, Stephen Pearl said, I can say it now, the schedule has been just a tad too much to play at the Eras tournament against the teams they played there, then come home and play in the ACC ESPN Challenge, and then fly again back out west to play Tucson, really good at Arizona, that they could catch a breath right now. And Jaden Bradley, by the way, the one-time Alabama freshman who has gone to Arizona and had an unbelievable career since he got there, is one of the best players in college basketball right now. So basketball update from our friends right there at CPAP, Sleep Home, Alabama, sleephomealabama.com.
Yeah, hey, if you're on a CPAP, listen up. Our friends at O'Neill Medical and CPAP Plus are running their Show Your Score promotion right now. Just stop by one of the Birmingham locations, Pelham, Trustful, Inverness on Highway 280. No appointment needed at all. If you see Joe or Woody O'Neill, make sure you tell them the next round sent you. Show that ResMed My Air Sleep Score. You're automatically entered to win a brand new ResMed Air Mini Travel CPAP worth $900. The Show Your Score raffle runs through December 31st, so don't miss out. Get all the details, o'neillmed.com. That is ONEAL med.com.
Okay, Alabama's offense. It's not in a good place right now.
Negative.
Not in a good place right now. Brown and I were in the post-game area. Ty Simpson was one of the players up on the podium, and he gets asked about Alabama's offensive performance against Georgia with what was on the line for the SEC championship.
How frustrating is it to kind of have this offensive showing collectively as an offense? You have the playoffs kind of on the line here.
I mean, yeah, we have a standard, right, as an offense in general. You know, we think that, we know we're the best offense in the country. And then when we don't show it right, like, it's very frustrating, especially times when, we're just, a couple things away. So, like I said, credit to Georgia's defense, right? Like, they had a good plan. That's pretty much simple as that.
And Georgia did have a good plan. Kirby, by the way, 4-0 now as a head coach in rematch games.
And both his Alabama wins are rematch games.
That was
I find interesting.
Talking to some Georgia people, I think that there was a feeling inside of the program that was a really big game for Kirby.
Yeah.
And he did talk about the importance still of a conference championship game. But if you pull Eastern Illinois out of this, Alabama's last 4 games, they're averaging under 19 points per game. And I don't know what I've never seen the best offense in college football.
Nah, I mean, that's an overstatement, but I don't, I understand a player saying that, that's their mindset.
But, against Tennessee, against Georgia, there were moments. But if they're going to have any kind of run in this bracket, it's going to be because of the defense. The offense, injuries are injuries, but the offense seems broken, and there doesn't seem like a lot of fluidity to this grub offense right now. And I think a lot of that goes back to the fact that you do have injuries and you can't run the football.
But they couldn't run the football when they went to Athens and won. They did as good as they could there, and it was effective, but they were so good on third down. But the Alabama fans I talked to after the game are asking, if you go back, and I mentioned it to you during the game, Brown, remember how we came back after Alabama won in Athens, and it felt like Ryan Grubb, the motion, the route trees, everything it had Georgia's head spinning. Now, you got 2 great defensive minds in Schumann and Smart over there that saw it and was able to diagnose that, but it didn't look like they were running the motion and all the misdirections and things that they did in Athens in this game this past week. And Luganville talked about this earlier on Monday Morning Live. The intermediate to downfield passing attack for Alabama seems to have gone away. And that's why some people are wondering whether Ty Simpson's hurt or not. Can he throw the deep ball? Can he push it down with authority like he was doing earlier this year?
See, I've never thought he was a tremendous deep ball thrower, even when he was healthy, and maybe they hit a few more of those when he was healthy. And obviously I'm a novice here, right? I've never coached a game. As Brooks Alston will remind you, I don't grind film. But this makes sense to me. Does it make sense to you guys? Alabama does not have a deep threat in the passing game. Now, I'm not talking about receiver. I'm just saying the passing game overall doesn't have a deep threat to it.
It has gone away. Yes.
Yeah, they don't hit deep balls, I guess is what I'm really trying to say. And they don't run the ball well. So I really don't have to worry as much about the line of scrimmage because they're not a very good run team. And I don't have to worry as much about 20 yards beyond the ball because they can't throw the ball down the field. So I can focus my defense on line of scrimmage to 15 yards off the ball. I don't know who's going to throw against that.
And that's one of the reasons that back how efficient they were on third down in Athens. They were 3 of 14 this Saturday.
Yeah. And you go back and look. Now, Georgia's secondary has gotten better.
That's a good Georgia team, really good.
And their secondary has gotten where they can cover the Bama receivers one-on-one. But you go back and watch the tape or the TV broadcast, the number of players that are within 9 yards of the line of scrimmage for Georgia, all 11 of them, most of that game. Like they were not concerned about anybody beating them over the top. They are packed in there. There are 9 guys within 9 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And when you're doing a bunch of checkdowns, there was nowhere to go with the ball.
Yeah, it might be open, but it is not gaining yards after contact.
I actually think they're going to win the national championship.
Who?
Georgia.
Oh, okay. I thought we were talking Alabama for a second there. I was like, wait, I'm going to have to hear more on
the
this.
hair on my neck.
Yes, wait a minute.
Okay, here's Kalen DeBoer. If he's concerned about the recent offensive trends, here's the head coach.
Going into a matchup with another stout defense, how concerning is maybe the offensive trends here of late?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think a lot of that is getting some guys healthy, not just running backs, but offensive line. And I think that the next Cam Dewberry will be back. We lost Geno last night, but he'll be back just based on that evaluation there. And I think Parker, where he'll be, he improved quite a bit from the Auburn game, and with this time, I would expect him pretty much at 100% going into the Oklahoma game. So that's a big deal. It's a big deal there. And so I think those things you build off of. The game, gets away from you last night, and the second half, I know it wasn't like we were moving it there in the first half either, that the way you want, but it really gets away from you. And then, something that we didn't have established in the first half just becomes something you really can't get going at all in the second.
Yeah,
I think coaching is going to be, obviously this is a stupid comment, but so important going into this first game. And by this, I mean, they weren't ready for Florida State, but this is a new season. So if you're Kalen DeBoer, you got to get these guys healthy, but at the same time, how do you relay that message? Like, don't even look back. We know the potential of this team. Everybody is doubting you guys. I would play that chip on shoulder card, but like, how do you regroup them to get them focused to not remembering how bad the football has been the last few weeks?
I'll go one positive here. I'll try to give a positive to this. If you exclude Eastern Illinois, which you need to do for this discussion, since Vanderbilt, Alabama's had one 400-yard offensive game. One, which is not an extremely high bar in college football, 400 yards.
You're right.
They've had one. You know who it was? It was Oklahoma.
Yep.
Which is weird because you could make an argument it's the best defense they faced in this stretch. But one 400-yard offensive game, other than Eastern Illinois, since Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's been a long time ago. And Oklahoma was that game. And they weren't perfect offensively in that game, but if you go back and think about that, they moved the ball against Oklahoma better than most teams have. And they moved the ball better against Oklahoma, better than they have against anybody since Vanderbilt, really.
Are Mason Thomas back for this game for Oklahoma? So that could change things a little bit with the pass rush, and they were really good at it the first time around. Getting healthy is a key. And everything Coach DeBoer said there. To give Georgia some credit, cut to Tyler. Whether this meant a lot to Kirby Smart or not, he's got his team playing really, really good. Like if you'd have taken away the performance they put on tape against Georgia Tech, which is a rivalry game, so it's always going to be, maybe closer than it should have been. Before Georgia Tech, Georgia was humming. And then they came back out and was humming again after Georgia Tech. And Kirby sees something in his defense right now that he likes a lot.
Kirby, the level of physicality and aggression that your defense played with tonight, how proud are you of them as a coach to see that, and how big of a difference do you think that made tonight?
Oh, it was a huge difference. It was it was a domination on that side of the ball, and a lot of it came with a chip on their shoulder from the last one, and it came on a chip on their shoulder from improving. We told them after that game that there wasn't a lack of execution in that game at home. They outplayed us, they out-executed us, they probably outcoached us, and we weren't going to let that happen again in terms of the way we played with physicality. They're getting better. Young kids are growing up. There's a lot of naysayers out there for Schumann and his staff, and they never flinched. They kept getting better, kept growing the players, and they played really well tonight.
So his 4-0 in rematch games have all been in championship games, 3 SEC and 1 national championship. Auburn in 2017, Alabama in the national championship game, Texas last year, Alabama this year in the SEC championship game. So rematch trophy on the line. Kirby is perfect in his career.
Yeah, hard to beat a team twice, and that factors in, and Kirby is really good in those situations. It has been a month to the day. I'll give a similar stat that I just gave about Alabama's offense. A month to the day since they've allowed a 300-yard game. That's how good this defense is playing of late. And by the way, in that month, they have played Texas, which is a pretty good football team. They played Georgia Tech, which at the time was ranked, and they've played Alabama in the SEC championship game, and none of those teams have gained 300 yards on Georgia's defense. It's been a month since State did it, a month to the day. So this defense is playing elite-level defense right now.
Before we do our spotlight today, tell us about Dr. BLT. And I know over at the trip to Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium this weekend, people, I'm sure, we're looking at your hair saying, man, that guy's got a great head of hair. I wish I wasn't losing mine.
Yeah, that was the rave, man.
Beautiful. Alabama's playing poorly, but look at that man's hair.
Hey, look, if you are starting to thin out, T3hair.net. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. Hair is more than doubled in thickness over the last 4 years. T3's got that test. Easy, painless, affordable. Takes seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. Men and women ordering products online don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money in critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Go see Dr. Beckenstein and that great staff. Find out what will work for you. Call them today. Tell them the next round sent you. 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
The College Football Spotlight.
Presented by our guy, Alexander Shinara, trial attorneys. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, Shinara.com. Shinara.com is where you find Alexander Shinara. And he's more than just personal injury cases. You obviously know he is exceptional at those. But how about fire and storm damage claims, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, a host of other claims? Again, Alexander Shinara is your guy. He's recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining some core values: integrity, mastery, passion, and success. You find yourself in need of an attorney? Shinara.com. You don't pay a dime unless they win your case at Shinara.com.
The spotlight is on Indiana, who goes into this thing as the #1 overall seed, and they're going to get to play in the Rose Bowl. Their first Big Ten championship since 1967, their first outright Big Ten championship since 1945. LT 24-2 in the last 26 games for Indiana, one of the worst power conference jobs ever. And listen, I know they played nobody out of conference, and the Big Ten is not top to bottom. But this team looks so good right now. National championship good. I didn't feel that way last year.
Yeah, it feels a lot different. You know, last year did think it was lightning in a bottle and all these transfers and the schedule was awful. And when they finally played teams of substance, whether it was in Columbus against Ohio State or Notre Dame in the college football playoff, they were outmatched. Well, this team is much better. You are going to have a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. You have got a dominant defense that had 5 sacks against that Ohio State offensive line. They're coming in knowing they beat a top 10 team in Illinois by 53, at least when they played them. They went into Autzen, a building that Oregon doesn't lose, physically beat them by double digits, and then what they did physically to Ohio State was beyond impressive. This right now, they deserve to be the #1 seed. You've got to consider him a top 4 or 5 coach right now in Kirk Cignetti. He's completely weird. Mendoza's completely weird, but it works together. But this team is clicking. It's the greatest turnaround we've ever seen in the history of college football.
That's what, Urban Meyer said that after the game. You've echoed it, and I agree with both of you. It is I mean, it's wild to watch this, Jim, and his level of preparation. Like the same thing jumped out at you that jumped out at me when he was interviewed after the game, and he's like, with the time and their timeouts, we knew they had 16 plays remaining. I'm like, that's a heck of a level of preparation right there, that in real time you're able to have those types of thoughts. Like, they've got 16 plays remaining, so let's approach it from that standpoint. Let's start taking away a play from Ohio State by every play we run. And if we can take away enough plays, we've won the game here. And I just love that approach, and I love...
He's robotic. You know, we talk about robotic
100%,
coaches.
yeah.
I mean, this is the kind of coach you want. I don't know, I've never Googled him. I know that's kind of the joke, so I don't know what else Curt Cignetti is interested in, but it only seems football.
It seems like football. I mean, he coached with Nick Saban, and his dad was a legendary coach to begin with, Frank Cignetti. And I think on the FCS level, if I'm not mistaken, is where he was legendary. And so he learned a lot from him. He has said himself he learned a ton on the organization and the approach and the preparedness from his time with Nick Saban. And it shows. I mean, this guy is so prepared. But you got a chance to throw a pass and clinch a number 1 seed and a Big Ten championship. He doesn't think twice about doing it. Yeah. And it wasn't exactly a high percentage pass.
No.
But it was a great throw.
If it was the old 4-team playoffs,
maybe you do that different.
Or the BCS championship, do you do the same thing there to
Probably
win
no.
the game? Maybe he does.
You probably run and burn clock and punt and hope your defense plays.
Yeah, maybe he does though, because you have it in your hands. I know Kalen DeBoer, did it a couple of times at Washington. Maybe Cignetti would have done that. I like that, because why give it back and then hope you can play defense when maybe I can walk it off with one completion here? I love the way he coached it. That team looked good. It was right there in Indianapolis. Place was going bonkers for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, and get used to it, right? Like, I remember all three of us for back-to-back years watching Butler play Duke, where they had a legitimate chance to win a national championship. The next year they play UConn, they get kind of run out. But those seem like just special moments from a small program, like really it played out like Hoosiers, like the movie. This Indiana program with Cignetti locked in on this deal, they aren't going anywhere.
You don't think so?
I really don't believe they are.
Well, I mean,
in our 40 for 40, we had them ranked 24th coming into the year.
I'm sure I was low.
We missed it. We missed it by 23 spots.
He's 2 for 2 in the quarterback portal, and
it's gotten a lot better.
It has. He's 2 for 2, and it's improved each year. I assume he's going to have to go 3 for 3. I don't know that they've got a plan behind Mendoza. I'm not certain of that. They could. I haven't really followed their situation. It kind of looks like he's building that out of the portal.
And speaking of injuries, their best receiver, Omar Cooper, doesn't even play Saturday.
Did not play. Absolutely. They expect him back perfectly fine for the Rose Bowl game against the winner of Alabama and Oklahoma. Central State Bank takes us back to the bank of the NFL yesterday, where some people have cashed out their chips on what was a good season. Tell us about Central State Bank.
Yeah, Central State Bank is big enough to meet every need you have and serve you, but they are also small enough to know you, because they are rooted in community. They are built on relationships, and they've been doing that for more than 100 years. Branches throughout Central Alabama to meet your needs, but you're not just going to open a checking account. You're going to open a relationship. That's the way they do business at Central State Bank. Central State Bank, built on community, built on relationships, and built on trust. Central State Bank, member FDIC.
You got to start here. Patrick Mahomes, since he became the starter of the Chiefs, has never not played in the AFC Championship game. He's gone to three straight Super Bowls, 7 straight years of being the AFC Championship game. They lose yesterday. They're now 6-7. And it doesn't look like they're going to make their 4th straight appearance in the Super Bowl. Doesn't look like they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, even if you run the table at this point and get to 10 wins, I just don't know if you can get there. I mean, that doesn't seem like a team that's going to do that. He's coming off 3 interceptions. Look, fantastic D'Amico Ryan's Houston Texans defense, and they're going to give a lot of teams problems down this final stretch of football. But this Chiefs team, just something is missing, and I don't think anybody that's not a Chiefs fan, I don't think they mind this.
And you can't pull a Steelers and backdoor your way in by just winning your division.
Right.
Denver's too far ahead of them now, so they're not going to be able to backdoor it in. They're going to have to get a wild card.
5-game lead.
It's insane to think about. They're going to have to get a wild card out of this deal, and boy, it is highly, highly unlikely.
Meanwhile, at one point, they looked like they were I think at some point somebody called them the best team in the AFC. The Colts have now lost 3 or 4. Added to that, Daniel Jones's Achilles pops yesterday. He's done for the year. and that team has been passed by the Jaguars now.
Yeah, they're pretty much done. I mean, Riley Leonard did what he could. I thought it was ironic that Riley Leonard, who played for a national championship for Notre Dame, gets his first substantial playing time on Sunday. When he went down, we had the Colts minus the 1.5. They were down 14-7 when he went out of the game, and at that point it was absolutely over. But I think you can almost, outside of the North, whatever happens there. Bengals missed a big opportunity yesterday. I don't know if you guys watched the end of the Ravens-Steelers. There were no urgency at all with that Ravens offense. I didn't know what was going on.
And for Lamar not to throw the ball away right there at the end and take a sack.
Strange.
Yeah.
But outside of that division, whoever wins it's in, I think you can say New England is winning the East. Buffalo is going to get a wild card. I think you can say that Houston or Jacksonville is going to win the South. The other gets a wild card. And I think Denver and L.A. are right there. Now, Miami is the one team you don't want to play right now. You just got so far behind the 8 ball, I don't think you can pull your way out of this.
I know. Even undefeated 10-7 Miami, it would be a tall order. But they are, all of a sudden, they've become a dynamic run team. I don't know what has happened. Orlovsky talked about it last week, the adjustments Miami has made to become a dynamic run team. But the remainder of their schedule, they play Pittsburgh Monday Night Football next week. That's a tough game in Pittsburgh. They've got to play Cincinnati. I don't know where the Bengals are. They probably lost any chance they had yesterday at Buffalo.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they approach the rest of the season. They play your Buccaneers, who all of a sudden are in the fight of their life for their division with Carolina, and then they wrap with New England. That is a very difficult finish for Miami. So I don't think you have to worry about Miami.
I will tell you, Miami will come between 2 games with the Panthers. So not that we're going to rest people for the Miami game.
No, but I like that.
We'll need to win, but we play Panthers, Miami Panthers.
I did not know that, and I am happy to hear that.
Yeah,
I hate when the NFL does that, by the way, when they put those division games so close.
Yeah.
But
Dunaway, you'll love this story. I don't know if I told you or not who I met at the hotel bar.
You did.
Yeah, so we're sitting there. Maddie's got like this USC jacket on, and she's doing work on her laptop, and we're sitting at the hotel bar, and this is after the game. Well, this guy comes over, well-dressed, around our age. And we just started talking about USC football. And we talked for 30, 45 minutes. And then I noticed, Chris Doring and Peter Burns were over there. And he talked to Burns and Peter, or Burns and Doring. And then when he slid back and we started talking about Lincoln Riley specifically, I was like, are you in the business? Like, how do you know them? And he was like, I'm the president of the Seahawks.
Wow.
Chuck Arnold, nice to meet you. And I was like, damn, where's John Snyder? And he's like, he's right over there, the general manager. So they were in town, obviously playing the Falcons, and they broke away from their hotel in Buckhead to go to the game, and then they came over to the hotel bar, but just couldn't have been nicer.
Wow.
Yeah, which was really cool. And I told him,
tell him that you'd like their team to lose a couple of games.
Yeah. And he agreed. He said it's going to come down to Thursday night at Lumen in 2 weeks, and the winner of that game probably will get home field. He said if you can make it out to Seattle, you got tickets.
All right.
What a nice guy to give a Rams fan tickets. Yeah.
But going out there the night before Alabama plays Oklahoma would be a little difficult.
He knows that you wouldn't be heard in that stadium. It's so loud, right?
Probably.
Let you scream your lungs out.
I just thought it was really cool that, those guys, breaking away in the middle of a season, just grabbing some cocktails on a Saturday, and was just such a down-to-earth guy. I had no idea who he was.
Eagles-Chargers tonight, 7:15 on ABC and ESPN. Dual cast tonight. 2 playoff teams potentially there.
And Orlovsky's doing the Nickelodeon game for your kids. Our guy Dan Orlovsky.
That's tonight?
Yeah, I said Nickelodeon. It's Monsters Inc. I think tonight. Yeah,
it's on ESPN. Yes.
Yeah, Monsters Inc. is the Orlovsky portion of that with Drew Carter. He used to work here at CBS 42.
So that is 7:15 happening tonight. When we come back to college football, we go. The show being brought to you by our friends at Culver's. Brownie, tell us about Delicious.
Yeah, whether you are celebrating a huge win on the gridiron or maybe the game didn't go your way, Culver's is a great place to go afterwards to celebrate that win, or heck, maybe just have a great meal to drown those sorrows with that great butter burger you can get right there at Culver's. And then don't forget, you always want to chase that thing down with one of those great desserts. They've got the creamy, fresh frozen custard, the crispy crinkle-cut fries on the side, the gooey golden cheese curds, something for everyone in your crew to enjoy. Win, lose, Culver's is the place to go. Perfect to celebrate sweet memories you'll make all season long. So in Birmingham, stop by the Culver's on Stadium Trace or Tattersall Park and make game day delicious one. Culver's, welcome to Delicious.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Yo, kinfolk, what's good, man? Let me holler at you for a minute. You know how life can be life. You're out there chasing that dollar. Every dollar is accounted for going somewhere. Then all of a sudden, bam! Out of nowhere, a car accident. All I had to do was hit up my people at Alexander Shannara Trial Attorney. You already know when that dude Alex pulls up the trial, he shuts down the litigation situation. Yo, go to Shannara.com. Hit him up at 659-777-7777.
Call me, Alabama. No representation and legal services provided are better than any other provider. What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger, made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness. Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Four Downs today being brought to you by our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Your chance, guys, to be healthy. Just be healthy, man. And that always starts with having a good baseline on all of the stuff that goes on with your body. That includes your urological tract. And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama can help you do that. So even if you're watching or listening to us in your 20s, you need to get a good baseline, get checked out, because things can happen even though you feel bulletproof. And then 30s and 40s and 50s, you start to feel it a little bit. Urology Centers of Alabama has been helping men in the area for over 70 years. The women, too. 205-930-0920, Urology Centers of Alabama, urologycentersalabama.com. 16 locations. Find the one near you, Urology Centers of Alabama.
First down.
Nicki Minaj, 43 years old today. Believe it or not, Kim Basinger is 72. She snuck around and got 72. I guess out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah,
but
boy.
if I asked you, ultimately better career, Nicki Minaj, Kim Basinger?
I think I'll go Nicki Minaj here.
Now, Basinger does have an Academy Award from LA Confidential, I think 1997.
Okay.
Was married to Alec Baldwin for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't dislike Nicki Minaj. I'm sure I've
Bond Girl, too.
got a couple of songs I've played, or it's on a playlist or two somewhere, though they do not.
You're a super bass guy.
Starships. You got to like Starships.
Yeah,
That's
Starships.
That song's got a lot going on.
And I think she was actually the first with the Brazilian butt lift, right?
Yeah. Oh,
trendsetter.
She was.
Pioneer in the
She's
field.
the one that actually sings Bees in the Trap?
I'm unaware of this.
Oh, okay.
That's an old Nicki Minaj song.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see the mashup, the TikTok trend.
With the 4 non-blondes.
Yeah. So that's unbelievable. I always wondered where that's Nicki. Oh, yeah.
Does that give her the lean?
No. I'm still going to go Basinger, but it's close. But
I would go Minaj here, but very, very close.
Second down.
Jim Morrison would have been 82. The dude has been dead forever and would only be 82.
I know.
If I went Jim Morrison or Jim Kelly, Hall of Famer, 4-time Super Bowl participant.
I think I would go Jim Kelly here. Jim Kelly, top 10 quarterback of all time.
Close,
it's
borderline.
close. So you're going to make that discussion.
I mean, I would put Stafford in front of Kelly, but...
I mean, I got no problem with that. They played in the same amount of Super Bowls, right? Actually, Stafford's played in 2. Kelly played in 4.
Yeah, Stafford's only played one.
He's won one more Super Bowl than Kelly is the way I should have said that.
About to have one more MVP.
Yeah.
I mean, Jim Morrison does have... I like the Doors for a minute in high school. I mean, he's still an iconic guy. Died at 27.
Yeah, I never loved the Doors music.
You got to be in a weird mood.
You do. So I'm going to go Jim Kelly. And it just seems like Jim Kelly nicer guy than Jim Morrison.
Really? Why do you think Jim Morrison's not a nice guy?
Well, the way
Kelly's an exceptionally nice guy, though.
Yeah, the way he was portrayed in the movie with Meg Ryan.
I never saw it. Val Kilmer played him.
Like he got into some devil worshipping.
Well, the drugs took him a different. He had this chick that was basically a witch, his side piece.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many witches people have their side piece as a witch, but that's what he had, and it went. But it was Oliver Stone directed, and he wanted to get into that, psychedelic,
right?
Out there with the drug kind of thing.
I can tell you a church she doesn't need to go to. Our old boy in the trash opens. He does not like witches.
Third down.
Sammy Davis Jr. would have been 100. Sammy Davis Jr. or Sammy Sosa? Better career.
Ooh, you almost have to explain to some of our audience who Sammy Sosa is. You really have to explain who Sammy Davis Jr. is.
Well, I mean, Rat Pack is. I mean, for what those guys did in entertainment before entertainment was what it was. Yeah. I mean, that was like the exclusive club of the exclusive club. And I know, look, Sammy Sosa gave us one of the best summers ever in baseball back in '98. I would go Sammy Davis Jr. here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Sammy Sosa because I make it personal, and Sammy Sosa did more for me than Sammy Davis Jr. I enjoyed one summer, and I've never really enjoyed the Rat Pack, his part of the
Cannonball
Rat Pack.
Run.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed some of the movies that Dean Martin was in and that Sinatra was in.
Ocean's 11.
Yeah. Sammy Davis Jr.'s best role was...
I couldn't even tell you.
Well, he's known for singing.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, his best song was...
Yeah, singing and entertaining. Like he was also comedian kind of, and they'd get up there and just improvise.
I mean, I can't tell you a single Sammy Davis Jr. song, not one. And other than,
but what he did,
I always felt like he covered songs. I really did.
And I've seen some of these documentaries on Las Vegas. Like he broke a lot of like the color barrier in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
like there were certain casinos that were white only,
and he was the first
and he
black
was very
act that was ever
instrumental.
booked.
And Frank Sinatra was big on that too, of getting him in. And look, if Sammy can't come, we ain't doing it.
Yeah.
So it broke a lot of barriers.
That changes it.
Something's got to give, all of you, but the one he's, it's not the most downloaded because it's an annoying song, but the Candyman Can.
Oh, I hate that song.
Yeah, Mr. Bojangle, he did a version of that.
All right, he's got a little more than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, he ran hard back in the day.
Yeah, back that A up.
I am going to go Sammy Sosa still.
Fourth down.
SEC or field to win the national championship? Feels like a field year for a lot of people, doesn't it?
Well, it does.
It
I mean,
does.
The field gets me Ohio State and Indiana, which is really the only two I want from the field.
Well, there's 5 SEC in, but we're eliminating one in the Alabama-Oklahoma game.
That's right.
And then you're eliminating another in the quarterfinals in Ole Miss and Georgia if Ole Miss is to beat Tulane.
Well, you're guaranteed a non-SEC in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. You're guaranteed one there. Because, Oregon beats James Madison, and the Oregon-Texas Tech winner will be in that game.
I don't think they've decided who goes out to the Peach Bowl, the bracket-wise, right?
Oh, I thought they kept the bracket. I don't think they re-bracket.
Yeah, I don't think they re-bracket.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Capital One Orange Bowl against Rose Bowl winner is in the Chick-fil-A Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other bowl is where? The Fiesta?
Yeah, Fiesta.
So
yeah, sugar, cotton, meat, and then they will play in the Fiesta. The winners from the sugar and the cotton.
Okay.
So you are guaranteed a Oregon-Texas Tech. I don't know if you guys consider either one of them threats. I really would with Texas Tech, the way their defense plays.
Yeah.
And then if Dante Moore gets on a heater, I mean.
Well, then if you believe in Texas Tech, I think field's your best play because I get Indiana, Ohio State, Texas Tech. The SEC, the only – I mean, I'm telling you, man, beyond Georgia, I don't know who I would feel great about in the SEC. Like Texas A&M, I'm still not a believer. It's such a weak schedule.
When it's hard to believe the first time they get to a college football playoff, they're going to make a big run. Same with Ole Miss,
and
same with Oklahoma.
Again, I'll say this numerous times. We like Pete Golding. Can you see Pete Golding lifting this trophy? I mean, that's a stretch. And then just Oklahoma and Alabama just right now are not good enough to win the national championship.
I don't know about you guys, but I would go Georgia 1 as far as SEC. I would go Alabama 2. And I think there's a couple of things because I still think they've got that talent. I'm not even saying they're beating Oklahoma right now, but if they beat Oklahoma, then you've got Indiana and you've got probably a more talented overall roster.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, Kalen DeBoer has been in this situation before. He's not only gotten to a college football playoff, he's advanced.
With all that said, I'll go filled over the SEC. Georgia gives me heartache in this, but I'm going to take 3 teams.
I would take Ohio State, the SEC, and then everybody else. But because it's Ohio State, I'll take the field as well.
Yeah, I think Ohio State was your smarter play. I mean, that's where your favorite is right now. But I would go Georgia, Ohio State, Indiana right there, and then, I don't know, maybe Texas Tech.
Indiana looks the part. I want to see what it's like when they run with that beautiful grass at the Rose Bowl, how it feels.
That will. Can you imagine how many Indiana fans? If you ever pulled for anything about Indiana, you were at that game, right?
There
100%, yeah.
There is no doubt if Alabama's in that game against Indiana at the Rose Bowl, it'll be
a road game.
Oh, it'll be 80-20.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because it's not like Indiana fans have been spending a lot of money on basketball tickets.
That's right.
Chasing the Final Four, so they've saved their money up.
That'll be a hell of a scene, whether it's Oklahoma or Alabama.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who it is. Those Indiana fans are going to take that stadium over.
Is that 4?
That's 4.
That's 4 downs today, brought to you in part by our friends at Bojangles. They bring you the tender moment of the day. Before we do that, LT, tell us about Hemphill Services.
205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys awaiting your call. If you have any issues, home or business, whether it's plumbing, heating, or cooling, trust the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for any and all those issues. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com or 205-229-2090.
And don't forget, Bojangles is a great idea for those holiday parties when it comes time to cater that holiday party. How about unique ideas? Some fried chicken, those chicken tenders, the Bo Bites, those hand-breaded chicken tender bites that go great with that peach honey pepper dipping sauce, and the great sides, the biscuits, the sides, the sweet tea. It's all right there with our friends at Bojangles. Great for your football watch parties, your tailgates, or just that holiday party. And you can make it bow time. Lunch, dinner, parties, breakfast, it's all bow time with our friends at Bojangles. They bring you the tender moment of the day.
Okay, so in these early basketball games, sometimes you play in a neutral site like Arizona and Alabama will do coming up on Saturday night, 8:30 down at Legacy Arena. I don't think they give a trophy for the CM Newton Classic winner every year, but they did play a game in Nashville this weekend. Number 14 Illinois beat number 13 Tennessee, something like that. And there was a guitar that was given to Illinois as the winning team that had on the front the Illinois and Tennessee logo on the guitar. So what do you do when you get that trophy? You take it to the locker room, you do this.
Oh, no, they smashed it?
They smashed it. Hit
like
it again.
The honky-tonk man.
Yeah.
Why did they smash it?
It's just a guitar, Brown.
Well, I mean, somebody.
We want bigger trophy. They're like, where are we going to put this bulky ass thing? It would look strange in a trophy case, wouldn't it?
I mean,
very unique though.
It would look strange. Yeah, you're like, oh, did you guys? What tournament was that? No, it wasn't a tournament. It was some random game we played in Nashville.
Yeah. So you donate it to a local music department.
Nope.
Nope.
Brad Underwood looks just like Brendan Gleeson, this actor. He really does.
I mean, that is remarkable.
I think it's predetermined that they had the camera rolling and Underwood walks in and the guy's smashing it right when he walks in. I don't think you take it on yourself to smash the guitar without the coaches. Okay, right?
Yeah, I would agree.
You
with
imagine somebody doing that in front of Nick Saban back in the day?
Yeah, I'm just thinking. Yeah, I doubt that was a high end guitar, but somebody went to a lot of trouble to make that thing. And
now, when in Smashville, which is what they call it's sort of around hockey, right? It's there, so maybe the trophy was designed to do that, right?
Maybe
cheap guitar, and whoever wins it, Smashville, you're going to smash it.
I guess so.
But unique moment for Illinois. That's our tender moment of the day.
Are you guys excited that the Alabama-Oklahoma game is the Friday night game?
I am.
Absolutely,
We discussed that. If people didn't join our live show yesterday, we discussed this was before everything was released when that would be played.
And you made a good point on it. I just thought that they wouldn't have back-to-back those games that really don't have any interest at all.
Those are sacrificial lambs. It's head-to-head with the NFL. And I don't have the NFL schedule in front. One of the games is the Green Bay-Chicago rematch in Chicago this time.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what time slot that game's in, but one of those playoff games will be going head-to-head with Green Bay Chicago, which, if you did not watch yesterday, that was a tremendous game and will have massive playoff implications.
The two games that ESPN sold to TNT will be the ones going up against the NFL. So they kept the 11 a.m. Miami-Texas A&M game, the better game that on a normal Saturday would be your prime time game.
That's right. Yeah, you'd put that right in prime time. Game day would be there. It will be anyway. But you put that in prime time. But I'm not surprised they did Bama, Oklahoma Friday night. That is your standalone window. You've got no competition there. It will get a big number. That's two big national historic brands. I think it'll be, a tight game. And everything points towards a good number for that game.
Yeah, I will tell you that Eagles Commanders is the 3:00 game, and Packers Bears is the primetime game that day.
You know what the interesting thing is? How many people have Christmas parties that night?
Oh, I know.
Yep.
And I wonder if people have canceled Christmas parties.
It's a game changer.
On that 19th?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to host a Christmas party on the 19th, and you can't sit there and focus on a game.
No, absolutely not.
Move it to the 20th, and you can have Packers Bears and JMU Oregon on two different screens.
I mean, that's really the way to do it.
That's the way to do it. Yep. All right. That's our tender moment of the day and a little look ahead to the future schedules. A couple of other football notes before we get to the top of the hour, brought to you by our friends at Alabama Power, Brownie.
Alabama Power wants to make sure you know exactly what you're paying each month. Look, the fees are going to be there, right? Power is not free, but they want to make sure that you're getting the bill that you think you're going to get. So they've got some great tools to make sure you understand it. These tools are free, they are easy, and they can help you save. Alabama Power literally trying to help you save. What about Rate Advisor? It's a matchmaker making sure you've got the best rate plan. You could have a rate plan that's just costing you too much. How about Bill Explainer, helping to explain your bill in plain language so you understand what you're paying for. Maybe you can make some savings there. And then Energy Assistant. It connects customers with savings programs and financial resources when you need it most. That can help you save or help you maybe when you're having a tough time there. So check out all three tools, alabamapower.com.
Auburn's transfer portal, the last list I saw, defensive lineman Antonio Coleman, linebacker Caleb Wheatland, cornerback Rayon Strader. On the offensive side, quarterback Jackson Arnold, running back Damari Alston, wide receiver Perry Thompson. Any of those moving the... to me, I'm most interested in Perry Thompson, though he never really lived up to expectations as a big 4-star wide receiver.
Yeah, he was in a crowded receiver room that got even more crowded when Eric Singleton came in the portal, but he just never found his spot there. Look, the one that's going to make news is Jackson Arnold. Auburn badly overpaid him in the transfer portal and in NIL. I don't know what his market is, Lance, in the transfer portal. I mean, this is a guy... Again, the numbers are the numbers. I'm not trying to pile on Jackson Arnold. Everybody saw it. There are 16 teams in the SEC, and back-to-back seasons, he's going to finish 16th in passing. So I don't know what program looks at Jackson Arnold as like, there's our guy for the future.
But this is still a very athletic guy that was, had a lot of accolades coming out of high school, was your Gatorade Player of the Year, and he does have a ton of experience. I mean, he started over 20 games at the collegiate level, so it might be a situation where he goes to Tulane. I'm just throwing a random school out there, but there's going to be a market for Jackson Arnold.
Yeah. Interesting to see what Vandy does with their next quarterback.
You're not suggesting Jackson Arnold. You're just saying they've got to find somebody.
I mean, I don't know. Do the folks at Vandy think they can coach him up better?
I just don't know if they can live up to what they got with Pavia.
They got to get somebody.
It's two coaching staffs, though. I mean, I don't know what makes you think you're going to unlock the magic. I mean, two coaching staffs have coached this guy, and he's dead last in the conference in both of them. At some point, you are who you are.
But if I'm Vanderbilt, and we interviewed Jordan Matthews on Saturday morning, who was part of their offensive. He's an offensive consultant, and he talked about on that. And I don't know if you found that interesting. He was like, it used to be an arms race. We couldn't keep up facilities, but NIL benefits Vanderbilt because we pay these guys. We don't have to worry about the facilities anymore.
Facilities don't matter as much, like the NFL.
Yeah, and I think their focus is going to, if I'm Clark Lee, hey, man, I've committed to this program. I'm not going anywhere. We have got to find an elite quarterback because that's the only way we can compete. It's not going to be that easy, but they're going to pay for whoever they go out and get. I just wonder who that's going to be. I mean, Pavia he's going to end up being your runner-up for the Heisman.
Biggest name in the portal right now is Sam Levitt. It's official. They had their banquet last night at Arizona State football. Every captain spoke. One guy didn't show up. It was Sam Levitt.
Oh, wow.
Kenny Dillingham wished him well in his next stop at the banquet.
That's Bush League.
Levitt went into the portal officially today. It'll be interesting to see what kind of attention he draws.
He'll draw a lot.
Indiana's the betting favorite. They win this thing. They win this thing every year.
I would bet. Yeah.
I mean, and would you not want to go play for? I mean, you're talking about a team that is gonna, they're
number
one seed,
one. Yeah.
And you just had a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. But Levitt was so good at this time last year. You guys remember against Texas? They should have beaten Texas. It was, Scatterby was great, but Levitt was on fire.
Listen,
he just hasn't been as good, and injuries have been a problem this year.
I assume LSU's thinking Trinidad Chambliss is coming.
You would have to assume, right?
Yeah. If not, Sam Levitt with
Lane. Chambliss is probably loves Ole Miss, but he's got to have loyalty to Lane to give him a chance from Ferris State. I would say you're probably right.
Beck is out of eligibility, right? Because that's who has won the preseason portal the last 2 years in getting Cam Ward and Carson Beck is Miami. Is he out of eligibility? Am I right about that?
Carson Beck?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got to think Miami's going to be in on Sam Levitt, too. They swing for the fence in the preseason every year. It hasn't translated yet. Indiana's has translated much better, but Indiana's generally a little bit more under the radar than them.
Sawyer Robertson, where's he going to go?
Yeah, that's a guy that he had to do it because their defense is so bad, but he led the nation in passing a lot this year.
Tulane promotes Will Hall to be their head coach. He was on their staff there. Everyone thought Blake Baker was going to get the job. Blake Baker stays with Lane Kiffin at LSU as the defensive coordinator, where he's going to be making more than $3 million a year as a defensive coordinator.
That's a huge keep for Lane. And, it's somewhat surprising. I mean, if Blake could have gotten the Tulane job, I think he gets it. But, Lane likes to do things his own way. But, that was very wise to keep Blake Baker because the only bright spot for LSU the entire year was their defense.
But I will say this, Pete Golding thrived as a defensive coordinator under Lane Kiffin. So much so he's now their head coach. So I'm with you. You look at Lane Kiffin and you're like, he's an offensive guy. He does things his own way. But it looked a lot like Pete Golding got to run Pete Golding's defense without Lane Kiffin meddling in the defense. And I think if you tell Blake Baker that, and you saw what Pete Golding was able to do at Ole Miss, that's probably pretty appealing.
Man, I don't know. The conversations, though, around, people that do what we do for a living, like, I don't know if Lane Kiffin has anybody that is on his side anymore really at all. But look, if I'm an LSU fan, he's your guy now. You wanted him, but that is the first step to a championship was retaining Blake Baker.
I'll say this about Blake Baker. If you get to the end of this next season and say, okay, who's in your ear more, Brian Kelly or Lane Kiffin, what do you think his answer is? Brian Kelly, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, now if I'm Blake Baker, I'm looking at this thinking, okay, this is about to be my show on the defensive side. I'm going to get the leeway to do what I want to do.
At Virginia Tech and at Mississippi State, very unique situations. Former coaches, head coaches at those schools have now gone back and become the new defensive coordinator. James Franklin, and fired this year Brent Pry. Pry is coming back to be the defensive coordinator this year because he was with Franklin all those years in his time coming up at Penn State. And Jeff Lebby has hired Zach Arnold to come back as the defensive coordinator at Mississippi State.
Zach Arnett.
I'm sorry, Zach Arnett.
No, look, and I think it shows you about Pry and Arnett that these guys don't, and it's hard to say. I'm sure they got an ego a little bit, but they left it at the door to be able to come in. That's got to be a humbling experience. Now, they're still going to make good money, and they've obviously got a rapport with their former guys, but, man, that's got to be tough for a lot of people to be able to take that.
It impressed me with James Franklin, though. That's a guy. Now, look, he worked for Franklin, so they know each other well, but I think it just shows you what Franklin thinks his place is in this job. Like, yeah, I'll go hire the head coach they just fired. Number one, I got the power to do that. Number two, I am not threatened by him.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm James Franklin. This guy does not threaten me, but they do have that history of working together as well.
Penn State is keeping Terry Smith, making him the highest paid non-coordinator on a staff. They hired Matt Campbell over the weekend officially. So your thoughts on Matt Campbell at Penn State, and they're going to keep Terry Smith around. But how do you think Campbell plays finally out of Iowa State, now at Penn State?
We talk about this Indiana job. Matt Campbell is not far off. To do what he did in Ames, to have, 3 or 4 double-digit winning seasons, to be a game away playing for the Big 12 championship. He's done it multiple times. Iowa State was absolutely awful back in the day. I think it's a great hire. I don't understand why they didn't do it sooner. I don't know why they didn't try to salvage a semblance of this recruiting class and bring in Campbell a lot sooner than they did. But I think it's a fantastic hire. And as far as Terry Smith, that's one way to keep him happy.
We always wanted to see, we asked the question often, what would Matt Campbell do if he was ever given the keys to a big program? He's done that now, or he's been given that now. So I'm fascinated to see how this turns out. He started behind the 8 ball a bit. They didn't have an amazing roster this year. It didn't appear. And they got behind the 8 ball in recruiting, so they'll have to hit the portal very, very hard.
But I feel like Brock Purdy and Rocco Beck, although the year didn't go great for Rocco, he was one of the better quarterbacks at the end of last year. So, if you can bring a quarterback to Ames, now he's got State College, he's got Penn State money. Former linebacker, man, he's a no-nonsense guy that knows how to build a program. I think it's an A hire for Penn State.
And in our rent not to own situation, Charles Huff is the new Memphis head coach, official today, as he goes from Marshall to Southern Miss, now to Memphis.
Good for him. Boy, he'd never get pissed off for a guy transferring.
He really can. He's like Lane Kiffin. Lane can never bitch about the transfer portal, nor can Charles Huff. It started so well for them, but boy, they leaked a lot of oil down the stretch.
But if you're Charles Huff, you got to take that job.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you got to get out of Hattiesburg to go to Memphis.
There was a time, though, that Southern Miss was a better job than Memphis. That time is not now. As we get to the top of the hour here, before LT tells us about Michelson Laser Vision, Roy Kramer passed over the weekend, was honored at the SEC championship game, and the SEC lost a lot of giants over the course of the year, but Mr. Kramer was the commissioner that led the SEC into the modern era of the playoffs. They started the SEC championship game under his watch. He helped with the BCS championship and forming that, and he passed away over the weekend. And Mr. Womack helped with the BCS as well.
Mark Womack,
who passed away earlier this year. So both of those guys that were very important in negotiating television contracts, coming up with the SEC championship, and also the BCS standings, both of those men passing away.
Yeah, if you think about Roy Kramer's leadership, conference championship games were born in the SEC under his leadership. Expansion under his leadership, and the launch of the BCS, which is the forerunner of the college football playoff. That's some pretty good lasting legacy.
Yeah, I remember listening to him on Feinbaum way back in the day a lot. I remember Mike Slive talking about what an influence he was. And, as good as a job as Greg Sankey is doing with his conference and so well respected, in all these football circles, it started with Roy Kramer to Mike Slive to here. I didn't, and I'm not saying this in a joking term at all, but when I was at the game, when they were honoring him, I thought he had passed away years ago.
Yeah, he was.
I didn't realize that.
He had been kind of out of the public eye as he aged.
From his hometown of Maryville. He, as much as he could, had followed the SEC.
Good run, 98, right?
Yeah.
96, I think.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah.
I would say above all of that, though, and we all spent time with him, an incredibly nice person.
Yep.
And that's to me, that's more of a legacy than what we talked about with football, is I thought he treated people the right way. And I didn't know. I know fans got wound up at Roy Kramer for certain things, but people that actually knew him, I never heard anybody say a negative word about Roy Kramer. Just a very, very nice man.
One-time coach and one-time Vanderbilt athletic director. Michelson Laser Vision brings us to the top of the hour here on the next round. Tell us about Michelson.
205-969-8100. That is the number you need to call. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. After the procedure, only took 12 minutes for both eyes. 20/15 vision, better than 20/20. Make the call today. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have zero to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Honey, a while back, life knocked me flat on my behind. I was hit by an 18-wheeler, and Lord of mercy, it left me hurting. Now, I heard through the grapevine that Alexander Shannara had recovered big money for some people. You been hurt? Can't work? Don't sit there suffering. Call my people at Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. Ain't gonna cost you a dime, so pick up the phone and dial 659-777-7777 or go to Shannara.com, because when I called, Alexander Shannara answered.
Call me, Alabama.
No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the next round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today, in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means that your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. but it's only here for a limited time. So try chicken and Bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, final hour of the show, always brought to you by You Know Who. You know who, Tyler?
Who?
Champy's world famous fried chicken right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and the crew down there, they'll take care of you. I haven't seen Sterling in a long time. I need to go by there and see him. My mom loves it. She lives there in Alabaster, right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. It's a destination lunch and dinner location. Brined overnight, cooked to order, piping hot when it comes out, juicy down to the bone. Hand-cut chicken fingers, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, the in-house made sides and the in-house made desserts, and just the warmth of family is what you get with Sterling's Place. Over a decade, the same location, right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. It is Champy's Chicken, champy'schicken.com. So Alabama's in. We'll circle back around to the biggest story in college football. Alabama's in. Kalen DeBoer asked about how the team reacted to the news that they had made the college football playoff. Here is the Alabama head coach.
You know, just when you don't control your own destiny now and you're putting it in someone else's hands, I know there's so many good teams in the country. You don't know. And so we did not, and this was from the beginning, we did not have anything set up for today. We're meeting tomorrow morning at 9:00. And so, there's things that we have where we can communicate with the team. And I just know that their response has been a lot of excitement. As down as they were last night, I think they're excited and ready for the next opportunity because they know that this is the next goal, the next one in the chronological line, competing in the playoffs and what that can mean with a potential national championship opportunity. That's where we're at. But, I can't wait to see them tomorrow and we can talk about it. But I haven't seen the team since last night.
So no team meeting after getting back from Atlanta, the quick flight over from Atlanta to Tuscaloosa. I will tell you, we went into that SEC championship game, and I did not think there was any way Alabama was going to miss the playoffs. But as I watched the game happen, I was sitting there going, this is approaching the worst-case scenario. And I'm going to say something here, and I don't think it factored into his thinking, but it 100% impacted my thinking. Because their first touchdown was after a block punt, and you're like, okay. Chris Fowler, Kirby Smart called it on game day. He says, we think, special teams plays a big factor in this game. And he must have said it in the meetings because as you watch the TV broadcast, Chris Fowler actually calls it. Don't look away on punts today. Kirby thinks they have an advantage. Oh, that's blocked.
Do you think that was them knowing Overton's out and knowing his role in punt protection and that you're going to have a guy in there that is not you? He's a backup. And you're going to take advantage of that. And I think DeBoer was asking the postgame about it, and he didn't want to roll anybody under the bus, so he gave a very diplomatic answer. That's good coaching by Kirby, if Kirby looks at that. And, again, that's when the availability report comes into play because –
that was all snap, though.
Huh?
I mean, a lot of that block was snap.
Oh, yeah. But
he knew coming in that they'd had seen something on tape. Yeah. The special teams coordinator had come up with it. I mean, it's a 5'11", 175-pound receiver that made it set the tone for the game. Short field. Then there's two, an interception leads to a touchdown, another touchdown. But that one that made it 28-7, that 4th and 2 on the 12. And I said it in real time as it happened up in the press box. I don't know if I told you. I know I told EG. When you start looking at if this is a blowout, not a blowout, that one doesn't count against you, in my opinion. That's a coach right there playing for the win and not playing cosmetically to just try to manipulate the score to look better for the committee. I almost felt like LT that was a free pass for Alabama at that point. At that point in the room, it's like the coaches were like, this guy's not worried about cosmetics and us trying to vote him in. He's worried about trying to win the game.
It's all I could think about because I was already at the hotel bar at that point when they actually went for it on that 4th down. But if he would have pulled a punter out of that situation, not trying to, the look would have been so much worse.
It would have been like you're protecting the scoreboard at that point.
Yeah, he was playing to win the game. I think I saw our buddy Dan Wetzel tweet that is the world we live in. Kalen DeBoer needs to go for this fourth down to have any chance at winning the game, but needs to punt to have the best chance of making the playoffs.
That's exactly right.
What a stupid world that is, but that's the game we play. DeBoer made the right call. I mean, you've got
I admire
if
that.
you want to win the game, that was the only call you had to go. I know you're deep in territory, but that doesn't matter. You were down. You had to have possessions at that point. You had to keep the football.
But doing to win the game actually helped you, I think, on the reason why you could have punted. You know what I mean? I think the people in the room watched that like we did and said, I sort of admire the guy's not worried about the score so that we vote him in. He's actually trying to win the game. I thought that resonated with the committee a little bit. Brent Venables is the other side of this game. They were locked in. They're 8. They're hosting. Brent Venables, listen, I haven't heard anybody say Oklahoma's not supposed to be in. Have you anybody? I've heard nobody say Oklahoma's not supposed to be in, right?
One of the more incomplete teams in all of college football.
But they're in. I mean,
it sounds like you're
of course, I'd say that. Alabama now, not only do they have offensive issues, they got special teams issues.
Their special teams are a liability.
Oklahoma's special teams are really good, and so is their defense.
But here's Brent Venables. I don't know if he's just paid attention to Kirby Smart over the years, but Brent Venables is going to make you believe in this soundbite that nobody thinks Oklahoma belongs in the tournament.
I know for some people, debate's been there. Maybe we don't, belong in the playoffs, but we're here. A lot of teams are hoping they got matched up with Oklahoma potentially in the playoffs, and we got our focus and our energy, our detail is to be able to play for a championship. And no matter how crazy that might seem to everybody else, our team believes that we have everything we need, to be able to do so. So it's going to be incredibly challenging, but something that, we're looking forward to.
I mean, if you just close your eyes and said, Bob Chesney said, nobody thinks we should be in this thing and everybody wants to play us in the first round. That's exactly what Chesney would be telling his James Madison guys. He's trying to sell me on Oklahoma doesn't belong in this thing and everybody wants to play us.
Do you think they would have rather seen Miami than Bama again?
I mean, it's hard to beat a team twice. I do think Alabama's got somewhat of an Oklahoma problem, but I think they are smart enough to watch that film and think, if not for a pick six, if not for a fumble on a punt return, if not for a big punt return we ran that set up a first score, we get run out in that game. Yeah. I mean, they're smart enough to watch that film and know that. So probably to answer your question, would you rather coach against Mario Cristobal or Kalen DeBoer?
Yeah, Mario Cristobal.
Yeah, me too. In a big game especially, right?
I would just say that I'm looking at one team that is trying to find itself offensively and one team I think is cooking pretty good in Miami. I'd rather take my chances with Alabama. I know what Alabama's roster.
I'll tell you this. They would have been favored against Miami, and they're slight dogs to Alabama for whatever that means.
Yeah. As I look, I mean, you take out James Madison and Tulane, I think the perception of anybody, if you could pick your opponent in the first round game, if you're Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Miami, Oregon, Oklahoma, I think they would have all picked Alabama. I really do, because of their struggles offensively right now.
Maybe.
It is a very one-dimensional team. They're a really good defensive team, Alabama is. Special teams is a liability for them. Offense right now is a liability for them. So 2 of the 3 phases are a liability for Alabama.
Yeah, if we did A's through F's, you remember the old rag, you'd pull out the newspaper and have the big matchups and go everything down. Like, I still think coaching, Kalen DeBoer would get an A. I still think the defense would get an A, but, I mean, special teams probably an F or a D.
I don't know what is positive about special teams. Somebody give me something
positive. Offense is a D, maybe an F right now.
Talty gets it to the end zone every time on the kickoff.
Okay. I'll give you that. There's a positive. You're right. A lot of touchbacks, and that's a win in college football.
But you don't have any threat in the return game.
Yeah, it's all fair catches on the punt return.
Not on the punt return.
Yeah. Every single punt return is a fair catch. Every last one of them.
Kick returns often. The other guys also kicking it into the end zone a lot.
And that shocks me. Like, Alabama's got so many athletes. There's got to be somebody that could be a threat to flip the field.
Jim pointed this out to me. I'll give Jim credit on this Saturday night because we were sitting next to one another in the press box, And every time they would punt, I would say, and wave your hand. And about that time, Cole Adams would wave his hand for the fair catch. And Jim was like, Brown?
He didn't do it once. He did it every time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And every time I said, Brown, that's the thing to do. That's the thing to do.
Dunaway was like, the one time they didn't fair catch it, Ryan Williams returned it. And what happened? I was like,
fumbled it.
You're correct. He said, one fair catch against Oklahoma, they probably win the game.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt Alabama's in if they fair catch it then because they don't lose the Oklahoma game, and Alabama's sitting there as a one-loss team playing in the SEC championship, and even if they lost that game in a blowout,
I just think it's fascinating though that he's coached to call fair catch every time. Like Alabama just completely surrenders the punt return game.
And you remember how like Gilbert Arenas and
Marquise
Mays and Deuce and David Palmer, I mean, all those guys
Jalen Waddle.
were feared when they would go out there.
I know.
But if you're Kalen DeBoer, do you not look at last year's blueprint with Ohio State and that's what you try to match? Like, okay, they had multiple losses coming into this. They were in that 8-9 game. And what did they do? They went out and beat everybody in the bracket by double digits. New season.
Yeah.
Yep. It is a new season. Technically, in the bracket setup, Alabama is Tennessee and Oklahoma is Ohio State. I don't think the rosters are, but I think that's at least the bracket setup. And Texas A&M is the team that is coming off the rivalry loss that really plays the role of Ohio State. Do you think Texas A&M could beat Miami, Ohio State, Georgia?
No.
And then whoever comes out of the top, that's a tough draw for them.
Well, it's a tough draw, especially when you consider they haven't really played anything close to that since the Notre Dame game other than Texas, which they lost by double digits. I mean, that's what concerns me about Texas A&M coming into this, Lance. They did not get tested after Notre Dame until the Texas game, and it didn't go well.
That's right.
I mean, we could talk about Alabama limping into this thing. A&M's not limping in. But if I'm an A&M fan, in the back of my mind, I'm like, we got the most favorable SEC draw we could get. We played one good SEC team. They beat us, and that's my lasting vision of this.
And look, I at least on paper right now, I think this is probably a battle in College Station between Miami and A&M. And then you've got the hornet's nest that has been kicked over waiting for you in the Cotton Bowl in Ohio State.
That's right. The one time you don't want to play Ohio State is when they've already lost the game.
Yeah, and coming off, they will be so fresh. Ohio State probably will be at least primed to play their best game of the year.
More on college football. We'll hear from Kalen DeBoer now on how he gets asked about how his team needs to improve from the last time they played Oklahoma.
What's the biggest thing that you're going to be looking at outside of the turnovers from the last matchup to improve upon?
Protection, Miguel.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Because that was a really important part of the game, the field position in general, and that's, you get to this point and you're playing the top tier teams. That's what it is, right? It's getting short field. It's making your own breaks. The turnovers, the special teams play. That's when field position can be flipped the quickest. And so I think just consistent execution. We moved the ball, but it wasn't as consistent as it needed to be. We were, maybe in the fourth quarter, not able to get that drive, and I haven't really gone back and reviewed the film, but it wasn't that long ago. So coming up short at the end of the game was disappointing because that's something we've done a pretty good job of. And so, other than the turnovers, because we got down in their territory and had the big play was the interception for a touchdown. But there's more plays to it than that. There's things that happen that, you'll go back to, but there's things that obviously we'll evaluate and make adjustments to what we saw and what the original plan was.
Couple of drops in the game on Saturday. And that's continued to be a problem now for some of those receivers and running backs and tight ends, is when Ty is able to get it to them. There have been some key drops. It seemed like there were two in the end zone.
I mean, but Bernard, it hit him. It was that fourth down, and Ty did a great job of staying alive and rolling to his right on the sideline, and it hit Bernard right in the numbers.
And I have said that Daniel Hill is a better running back than Miller. Now, I've said in the pure handoff and run game, he's a better running back.
He runs the ball better.
He runs the ball better, like just that part of it. I think there was a deficit in pass protection. Miller hasn't been great about that lately, but I think where Miller is much better than Hill is receiving the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Hill is not a dynamic receiver out of the backfield.
Jam is better at pass pro, but he's light years better at receiving the football.
That's right. So I think the more complete back in that aspect is Jam Miller.
That's another thing that is so baffling about this team, how you don't have a running back that at least going out every other game can give you 100 yards on the ground.
And by the way, and we had brought up the name A.K. Deer, and you saw in that game why you're not seeing more of him. I mean, that was really the play that crystallized this whole thing Saturday night when Deer goes the wrong way, Simpson's out by himself, and he just has to run and slide for like a loss of 6. And then I was in the stadium. Alabama's back is to me, so I didn't see this, but they said on TV that DeBoer ripped into A.K. Deer. I was not able to see that, but I'm going by what people were saying on social media that DeBoer ripped into him pretty good.
Well, I could see it happen in real time. The reaction of as Ty slid, that the play had broken up and had the miscommunications there. I thought AK was a little. Again, I don't coach it up. Slows down a little bit as he's approaching contact as he's hitting the hole in the offensive line.
Was a young back down?
Yeah, maybe.
Instead of running through the contact, he's sort of stopping for the contact. Just my perception. Another team from the SEC that's in, Pete Golding is a head coach. We'll hear from Pete right after we hear from a couple of our great sponsors. One of those is our great friends at Company Distilling.
Hey, if you've been waiting to try a whiskey as good as the company you keep, and now is your chance with our friends at Company Distilling. Man behind the bottle, Jeff Arnett, the master distiller. It is available throughout the state of Alabama right now and a handful of other states, including Colorado and Florida. You can go online to see exactly where you can get this great product, but ask for it by name if they don't have it. Tell them to get it. CompanyDistilling.com/Alabama.
Again, Joel Klatt was supposed to be with us at the top of the hour. He'll be with us tomorrow. Our friends at Way to Wellness with you all the way into a new year in 2025. 2026. If you want to jumpstart that weight loss, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. Leslie and her board-certified team will help you a variety of different ways. One of those is that she'll give you a free consultation, and you're able at that point to decide, okay, I like this. I think I want to use this to help me lose weight. Injection therapy or meal replacement, combination of both. Maybe the protein bars like I use to where I don't bad snack between meals. That helps you maintain that weight loss. There's a lot of ways to do it out there. She's got them all for you, and with no contract and no sign-up fees. It's Way to Wellness, aplanforme.com, your journey to healthy living. Pete Golding is the coach, and he gets asked about the decision to cancel his introductory press conference, and now he's able to start coaching his team to prepare for a rematch with Tulane at home, and then possibly a rematch with Georgia if they're to win that game. Here's Pete Golding.
Keith made the decision, or said that you made the decision to cancel your introductory press conference. What was the rationale and reason going into that?
Yeah, for me, it was, we've been through about a month and a half. Right? All the focus was on everything that didn't matter. And the focus wasn't on a team that went 11-1, that busted their ass, that did everything right to put themselves in an unbelievable position to have players, right, that had really elite years because of team success that should be able to get individual accolades and aren't, because we're talking about the wrong shit. And so, for me at that point, this has nothing to do with 2026. This is 2025. In a normal situation, I'd be the interim coach. We'd be celebrating this team, this town, this university, having the ability to host a playoff game. Why the hell would we make it about me when it really doesn't matter? They don't give a shit whether I run them out or not. Let's put the focus back on the players where it should be. Let's get ready to finish this thing the right way. And then if you want to have one in January, have one in January. And let's charge everybody to do it and make it in rev share and whatever. And let's go get better players. All right. But this does not matter right now. We're worried about the wrong stuff. And there's a bunch of kids in that locker room right now that need to get the focus back on them. Because at the end of the day, all right, they're going to determine whether we're going to win this game or not, right, by their execution and their preparation. It ain't going to have nothing to do with what's the head coach's name. I can assure you that.
And I would tell you guys that's exactly the same guy we first met.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I love this. Yep. Now, you got to work on the hand gestures a little bit. It's way too Lane Kiffin with this one. But I love that. I mean, It would have been really weird if they had that press conference. Do you guys not agree?
Yeah.
It would have been so hollow and
Yeah.
just with everything that went on that campus. So he 1,000%, whether it was his own decision or whoever reps him, he did a great job with that, and I love the answer.
And he's right when he says, in a normal situation, I would be the interim coach right now.
Right.
And I love that self-awareness.
Well, I think a couple things. Number one, you could hear his frustration with the Lane Kiffin situation.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
Here's Pete Golding.
But wait, there's more?
Yeah. Here's Pete Golding getting asked what his immediate reaction to getting the job was.
And what was the immediate reaction for you
The
when
immediate,
you got the news?
the immediate reaction was I got my ass up out of my seat, went straight out the door to try to recruit offensive staff not to get on an airplane. That was my immediate reaction. So I could the years, the money, and I still can't, right? Does that make sense, right? So it's like, hey, man, I got a lot invested in this, just like these players do at this point, right? Let's try to keep as much in the boat as we can and then go find some other ones to put in if we need it, right, to go make a run. So it probably still hasn't set in, and I don't want it to set in. That's my point to the players. I'm not looking at my responsibility any different than it was when we went to game one right now. Right? Does it have a different role in front of more people in certain times in team meetings and all those type of things? Absolutely. All right. But as far as what my responsibility is this team to get guys prepared and went from one side of the ball to an entire group. All right. But kids are kids, right? And the room got a little bigger, but nothing else changed. I'm not changing who I am. Right. I ain't changing what the hell I wear. I'm going to yoga. I'm playing pick. I ain't doing any of that shit. Like I am who I am. All right. We're going to roll. We're going to do this thing the right way. I've done it a long time around a lot of good people. Right, and we're going to give it our best shot and see what happens.
Wow.
I'm not going to change what I wear. I'm not going to yoga.
Hey, listen, Scott. Hey, let me get Forrester here because, Scott, you sit through some boring press conferences to get sound for this show. Boring. Coach speak, non-answers, coaches not wanting to be there. That one had to be refreshing.
That was actually fun to listen to. I love me some Pete Golding.
Yeah, that was incredible. And, he looks like, on this with the quarter zip, he looks like an accountant that can't wait to get a call.
Yeah.
We got a bachelor party? We're going to Vegas?
But that's going to play well in Mississippi.
It should.
That's going to play well in Mississippi. Now,
By the way, in that presser, I think he dropped probably about 20 shits.
Oh, did he?
You should hear him in the locker rooms.
Yeah, it's a little worse than that.
I was blown away.
I assume that bridge is blown between him and Kiffin.
Yeah.
I get that feeling.
Yeah.
I get that feeling. I get that feeling. I would tell you, and I'd like to know, was before Pete was named, did Lane approach Pete about going, or did Lane already know he was going to have Blake Baker, that Pete was going to be the one left behind? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
He wasn't invited to dinner.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to go.
If you go back to, I don't want to violate a confidence, and I don't think I am. I'm just going to say it. If you go back to listen to Keith Carter with Richard Cross over in Mississippi, he makes it abundantly clear, the Ole Miss athletic director, that Lane Kiffin was told well in advance, if you're taking the LSU job, you are not coaching the playoffs. That was not an overnight decision.
We said it on the air last week. That's part of the interview.
Yeah. So that was way in advance. We've got some mutual friends with Pete Golding, and Pete was telling, especially one of those mutual friends, that he was going to be the next head coach. I think this was not some overnight decision as it appears. This apparently was the plan all along, is that if Lane leaves,
you're the guy.
It's your job.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, Lane is very petty, but I don't know how Lane could be upset with Pete for having this opportunity. On the other side, it's a great selling point, but it's almost like Pete really is pissed off that Lane would do this to Ole Miss, although he's got this great opportunity now.
Yeah, you could hear the frustration there, but that is going to play well in the Magnolia State. Again, he's got to win ball games, or none of it matters.
Yeah,
I cannot wait for that game next year.
LSU
in
Ole Miss.
Oxford. Yes.
Prime time, baby. Game day be there.
That post-game handshake.
Frosty.
It could be the pregame handshake could be very Franchione Saban. LSU Alabama, where remember Shad Williams and the Alabama players were telling Franchione, don't go shake his hand because of what he said in the postgame after Kentucky.
Yeah, and Saban was lingering at midfield, and Franchione was standing down under the goalpost. And I've heard Tyler Watts told the story on our show before. He's like, numerous players said, "Don't you go up there, coach.
Don't you go shake
that hand.
Don't go shake his hand."
And then it was. You remember it got heated after the game.
Yeah. Was that the 24-0?
31-0, I think was the final. Yeah. And I don't
coldest game I've ever been to.
And yesterday, apparently there's bad blood between Ben Johnson and Matt LaFleur, the Bears and
the NFL
and Packers coach. That was an extremely frosty handshake afterwards. That was the old blow by. They just did the handshake and kept moving.
So can't wait next year for the LSU Ole Miss game in Oxford. But a little work for Pete Golding to do with Tulane coming to town with future Florida coach John Summerall, 2:30 on December 20th, the middle of the day game happening. All right, when we come back, we will get to trash and some final thoughts. Don't forget Unlocked today with Brock Hewitt and LT. They come up right after the show today. That's being brought to you by our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa.
Hey, the gift of relaxation, you can give it right now from our friends at the Woodhouse Day Spa. Beautiful location right there at the Summit Shopping Centers off of Highway 280. You can stop in. You can pick up accessories right there. You can buy the gift cards in person. Make sure you tell Stuart and that great staff the next round sent you, or you can just order 24/7 online, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Let wife, girlfriend, mom, sister, whoever it is, choose from a menu of over 70 options, including the massages, the body treatments, the waxing, the nail services, the skin care, all right there at birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
And our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, they bring you the final hour of the show all the time, champy'schicken.com. Great Southern fried chicken. Don't forget po' boys and other things too, but hand-cut chicken fingers. The kids will love them. You'll love them. Your tailgate will love them. Watching football at the house, perfect. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. It's all right there. champy'schicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Honey, a while back, life knocked me flat on my behind. I was hit by an 18-wheeler, and Lord of mercy, it left me hurting. Now, I heard through the grapevine that Alexander Shannara had recovered big money for some people. You been hurt? Can't work? Don't sit there suffering. Call my people at Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. Ain't gonna cost you a dime, so pick up the phone and dial 659-777-7777 or go to Shannara.com, because when I called, Alexander Shannara answered.
Call me, Alabama. No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Sterling and the fine folks at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster want to welcome you in for a great lunch or dinner starting at 11 a.m. every day. Chicken that's brined overnight and cooked to order, and the taste of the Delta with those Delta recipe tamales. Champy's is perfect for all your tailgating needs this football season. You can also choose Champy's for your next party, wedding, or birthday. Great food, great people. Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster, and everything online at champy'schicken.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the next round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000. Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Get all your favorite Next Round gear all in one place. NextRound.store. From our Next Round hats to the logo tees to the all-time best-selling Y'all Can Have the Rest shirt. You can look your best by shopping with us at NextRound.store. Take the next round anywhere with NextRound.store.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast Beef tenderloins and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by the professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Back with you on the next round as we roll towards trash. A couple of other things to get to right after LT tells you about one of our new sponsors again, our friends at Crane U.
Yeah, we had the opportunity again to go out there and run that heavy machinery, but get the crane training you need today. If you're looking for a new career or need further training to advance your current one, our friends at Crane U offer comprehensive state-of-the-art fully stocked training facilities for mobile cranes, overhead lifts, or forklift training. If you want to use your own equipment, the team at Crane U will come to you. On-site, on-location training offered nationwide. Make your job easier and that job site safer. Crane U also offers certification, safety inspections to ensure the safest environment possible. Classes available monthly, so call or visit our friends at Crane U, 855-CRANE-U, or visit them online at crane.com and see what Crane U has to offer you.
Can I ask you, as you're moving that, and Lance is actually moving that in the video there, are you able to, like, are there cameras somewhere where you can see where you're dropping it down, or is that just all by sight from the control area there?
Yeah, there is a monitor inside of the crane that actually kind of gives you like depth a little bit, but really it is kind of a hand, eye kind of a feel on moving that. And I think that's like a 1,200-pound piece that actually carrying through the little obstacle course there.
Well, I mean, it's not like you're lifting it by hand. I don't think the weight matters, does it? I mean, you're using
no, it's harder. But I'm just saying how it glides. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Like, that's amazing that you even got an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, really,
like, they
really
could
cool.
make a ton of money just allowing people to come out just for like a Disney ride.
I know.
Go operate a crane.
Little kids.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing.
Do you think using the crane will make you better at the arcade claw machines?
You know,
That's
Tyler,
a great question.
Funny
That's a
that
great question.
Smaller scale, yeah.
So Scooter was the guy that was giving me my instruction. And by the way, shout out to Scott and Nicole, the great owners of Crane U. But I said, man, this is like a life. Like a real life, getting a stuffed animal. He said a little more difficult, but
yeah, okay, buddy.
Yeah, I'd like to know the difference in nerves. Like, we could all go to putt and putt, or instead of those tennis balls on those little things there, if that was like another building that if you hit, you're going to do hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of damage. That's why I'd like to know.
I would have tapped out quickly. I would want no part of that.
But that's like the graduates of Crane U have to do it at the highest of levels. So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Who knocked all those down? Is that Bo on the bottom?
Yeah, Bo was awful.
Bo.
Yeah, Bo was a mess.
Lunch cocktails.
Bo says his crane was more difficult than mine. Now Scooter told me my crane was more difficult.
I've always heard 138, the toughest crane to operate.
I feel like it was.
Yeah, Crane U. Appreciate them being part of the show today. As is our friends at New York Butcher Shop all the time. Before we do a couple of more things, tell us about New York Butcher.
Yeah, I was talking to our man Jim. Let me see what we've got here.
Oh, you
for
got a
Christmas.
special coming
Hold
up?
on one sec.
Yeah. Where'd LT go? Where'd LT go?
He just dropped all his stuff.
Yep. You got New York Butcher memorized.
He's coming back. He's coming back with a special, though. That's the good thing. He's coming back from the kitchen with a special.
They're offering certified Angus prime and choice whole beef tenderloins, bone-in and boneless prime rib roast, New York strip roast, steaks all aged to perfection, cut to order. The Duroc French roast and crown roast. They'll also be happy to smoke any of these items. Newski's, they're carrying this, the Applewood smoked hams, premium bacons, as well as lamb and veal. My man Jim getting out there, getting exotic. Great selection of fine wines, as well as side dishes and desserts prepared in-house by their chefs. Gift certificates also big. Dad would absolutely love one. You can order today. Cobb Heights, 205-970-7300 or Greystone, 205-703-8825.
Great American beef right there at New York Butcher Shop. Always appreciate those fine folks there. All right, before we get to trash, a couple of things. One of them, remember the player that left UNLV into the season? They were off to a good start.
Oh, the quarterback, yeah.
Mike.
Never going to remember his name.
Matthew Sluka,
yes.
Sluka.
Very close.
Good, very good.
Matthew Sluka. He's in the college football playoffs. He's
Where's
the
he a
backup
backup?
quarterback at James Madison.
Oh, wow.
Really? I did not. I lost track of him. I had
There
no
you
idea
go.
where he went.
Hey, I mean, he was pretty good for Barry Odom, early on.
Not as good as he thought he was.
Yeah, he tried to play his hand a little. Thought he had a little more leverage than he did.
Indeed.
Yeah. Jeff Kent is now a Baseball Hall of Famer, voted in by the Contemporary Group.
You know those like news updates you get on your phone. I don't know if you subscribe to them, but Apple serves them up, and it could be the Associated Press, could be Fox News, or whoever. The one they served me up on that says New York Giants slugger elected to the Hall of Fame, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Barry Bonds got in on this vote. This is such a surprise. So I hit the story, and it's freaking Jeff Kent. They called him a New York or
San Francisco.
I don't know why I said New York. San Francisco Giants. And I'm like, come on, man. That's about the most misleading headline, purposefully misleading headline I've ever seen.
I should have led with the one I was getting to there, that Bonds and Clemens didn't get in. Jeff Kent got in. I was setting it up for that. So no Bonds, no Clemens. They can't even be voted on by the committee again until 2031.
Yeah, so stupid.
Never
Jeff
end.
Kent, really, really good player, but the thing I remember the most about the former second baseman was him washing his truck and falling out the back, or he actually was on a motorcycle and he didn't want to, I guess it would have done something contractually.
Yeah, well, he wasn't supposed to be riding motorcycles.
Yeah, so he said he fell out of the back of his truck washing it.
Yeah, that was very believable.
Yeah, that gets us to trash today. Brought to you by our friends at Inverness Country Club. Unbelievable folks there.
They have memberships that fit everyone, from the social membership, the golf membership. It's a great gift for the entire family this holiday season. The clubhouse, the dining, the fitness center. Soon enough, it will be pool weather out there by that cabana resort-style pool. To view all of this and to get a tour, go to ICCalabama.com. Best days happen at Inverness Country Club. Again, ICCalabama.com.
Now, if that's too much, 12 different appetizers to choose from. I'm a fried dickle pickle man. I'm a fried dill pickle man.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. How about only $12 Bud Lights at the Mercedes Dome? I was talking to people that had never been in there before, and I was like, you guys are going to love the concessions. Because you get a bottle of water for $2, you get a beer for $12. It is the best concession pricing out there. But the Bud Light was very, very cold.
$12 Bud Light for a
16-ounce aluminum.
16-ounce aluminum?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, pretty good deal. We start first. 2 Australian Metallica fans have been hit with lifetime bans from Perth's Optus Stadium after climbing a speaker tower during the band's November 1st show on the M72 World Tour. Now, according to the local outlet Perth Now, 20-year-old Bo Williams and Locke Rawlings, 23-year-old, jumped the safety barrier and scaled the central tower inside of the stadium bowl, clinging to the structure at heights reportedly between 10 and 50 meters for around 20 minutes while the concert continued. Stunt triggered a major security response as venue staff and police moved in, with thousands of fans watching the incident unfold mid-show. Police later seized the pair's phones, which contained footage of the climb, as part of the trespass investigation. But they have been fined $1,000, or ordered to pay court fees, and they have been banned for a lifetime.
I mean, I guess if you're a music venue and somebody climbs that high, you got to ban them for life.
I love this, though. They did a mashup of INXS's Need You Tonight, because they always do something local,
right?
Whatever show they're doing. So that was pretty cool, giving Michael Hutchins and the Australian band INXS a little shout out there. Dunaway looked at me funny on Saturday when we were about to do the interviews, because one of the structures backstage where we were was part of the field goal kicking experience.
Right.
And it was so, like, I was just seeing how sturdy the thing was, and I was just shaking a little bit. And Donald was like, this thing's about to become dominoes.
He did this, and I was like, that was a lot of faith that was going to be. I mean, I when he did it, I was like, I was expecting the middle thing to fall out like a Jenga piece. I was like, are you kidding me?
What if that was the one they were like, hey, don't worry about this one. Nobody walks back here. Just get this one up as quick as you can. And that's the one you shake.
Everybody asked, how was Ludacris? And I was like, loud. Like, I never went over there to see him. I don't know if you guys wandered over there after the fact.
No. I sent video.
I didn't need to. I could hear him.
I sent video of what you say is his most shameful moment musically to my daughter because she loves the Justin Bieber song Baby. And Luda sings the...
he broke into that. I think it was the second or third song.
Second or third song. We were off the stage at the time, so I was able to video it for 1 second to send it to my daughter just so I could tell I heard the Luda part.
Yeah, I talked
she likes
to
the Bieber part better.
Some of our friends at Night Edie, and they said contractually there were certain things with the SEC that Ludacris was not supposed to include in his lyrics.
Interesting.
I don't know how that went. I'm going to say Ludacris probably signed everything, got his check, and did what he wanted.
That's right.
California homeowner learned his late-night doorbell mystery had a surprising cause after reviewing his security footage. November 26th, Dennis Webster was woken up during the night at his Grand Valley, California home by a doorbell ring.
Uh-oh.
When he checked the front door, nobody was there. Webster then turned to his doorbell camera to find out who was behind the disturbance. Now, comments on Webster's post continued the joke. One user writing that the bear had arrived to complain about bear-proof garbage cans. Another said, that's an up-close and personal visit. She wants some of the yummy food you're preparing for Thanksgiving. Webster's late-night visitor isn't the first time a doorbell camera clip featuring a bear has gone viral on social media. Back in 2023, video showing a bear stealing a family's Taco Bell delivery gained millions of views on TikTok.
So in order to ring the doorbell, it wasn't like motion activated. They actually had to punch the doorbell.
Did he do it with his nose? Is that what he did?
He did.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, you do get, I get an update if somebody's like 100 feet away from the door or whatever.
Motion detector, yeah.
So they
but this one looks like he actually rang the doorbell.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It looks nice.
I wonder if it's like you would say, like the food delivery guy has pushed that doorbell button as he's dropped it off. He's got the smell of food on his hands and was sniffing the doorbell.
No, it smells good. I'll just press my nose right here.
Florida man facing multiple charges after an alleged bizarre incident involving a stolen vehicle and attempted hit and run in the retreat to a portable toilet where he reportedly shed his pants. He's got quite the cranium on him.
He does. A lot of head.
This is Joshua Molnix, 43 years old, arrested by the Sanibel Police Department October 27th after he allegedly emerged from a beach wearing only sweatpants, trespassed onto private property, and was told to leave by a construction worker. Now, according to the arrest affidavit, when Molnix failed to break into a nearby shed, he allegedly found the worker's Nissan SUV unlocked with keys inside. He then got in and, quote, aggressively accelerated towards the construction worker. Worker managed to jump out of the way, avoiding injury, and watched as Molnix drove away, causing approximately $4,000 in property damage by ramming through a gate. Erratic episode continued on a separate property where police say Molnix parked the stolen SUV, ran into the portable toilet. When deputies arrived, the man, later identified as Molnix, reportedly fled the porta potty on foot without his pants and was allegedly wielding 2 wooden stakes, according to the Gulf Coast News. Deputies subdued him with a taser as he was headed towards another vehicle. He was arrested on grand theft of a motor vehicle.
One thing I have learned over the years of trash, we've been doing this show together now for more than 15 years, Tyler, is drug consumption frequently makes you want to take your clothes off. It's a weird thing that it does, but there are certain drugs where it's like that's a heck of a throw right there. I don't think you could ever do that again.
Tough. Tequila is normally the excuse.
Tequila. You've got a reason for tequila to take your clothes off. Generally, these people are just doing it randomly with drug use.
I've got a story about that. Might be best saved for a different show though. It's Taco Bell related.
When you were working there?
Yeah.
Okay. Mystery Fifth Hour coming up?
Yeah.
Well,
we can do that. Yeah.
So a man accused of trespassing onto the Kansas property of Travis Kelce, seeking to serve a subpoena to his fiancée, Taylor Swift, entered a program that will most likely absolve him of the offense, according to court documents. Justin Fisher was arrested, booked on suspicion of criminal trespass. on Cherokee Court in Leawood, Kansas, which is about 16 miles southwest of Kelsey's place of work, Arrowhead Stadium. Fisher was working as a process server who was hired to serve papers on Swift in the ongoing legal battle between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. Stemming from their movie It Ends With Us, according to defense lawyer Christopher Scott. Swift is a known acquaintance of Lively's. Scott went on to say, quote, I believe they want to miss Swift's deposition testimony. Fisher has agreed to pay $1,000 to enter a year-long diversion program that, if completed satisfactorily, could end in the trespass charges being dismissed.
But he works as a process server. Yeah. That's his job. So it's not like he was just pretending to be a process server.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know why this is that big of a deal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't have a process server. That's like, they don't necessarily work for the sheriff's department or whatever, right? They're contracted. So you don't have law enforcement privileges, I wouldn't think. I really don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, I think they contract that out, to Jim Dunaway's Process Serving Incorporated.
Yeah, I think you can ring a normal doorbell and serve, but breaking the trespass there, that is when it.
No, you have to find them out in the wild. You can't go inside their home. You can't.
But you can. I guess you could go to my door or your door and ring it.
Oh, you could,
and just throw it in when they open it.
But you have no right to go in, and you can't go past trespassing.
Right, yeah.
That's why you see them all the time, in a coffee shop. Hey, are you Ryan Brown? Yeah, I am. Yeah. You've been served.
You know, the best thing about last night's loss was Travis Kelce dropping the ball that ended up being an interception. That was awesome.
It is so weird watching them play right now. They are such a different team than they've always been.
I love it.
They drop all the big plays. They don't make any big plays when you need it the most.
Took a lot of Ubers this past week in Atlanta, but never got a Waymo. Did you guys get any Waymos?
I saw a Waymo, but I did not get any Waymo.
I did not take one Uber.
How about this? If driverless cars are the future, we might see way more of this. A Waymo took a left turn smack dab into the middle of a police standoff, and it's still all on video. Viral video spreading on social media shows one of the driverless ride service vehicles taking a left turn in downtown L.A., cruising right into the middle of some crossfire. Problem is, Waymo goes right past a man who was on the ground face down next to a truck.
Oh, no.
Is LAPD, and officers line up behind him and shout commands, adding dramatic effect. An LAPD helicopter is heard circling overhead. Folks taking the video chuckle at the bumbling Waymo driving into the eye of the storm. Rep for Waymo tells TMZ the vehicle cleared the scene in a matter of seconds, and the passengers inside made it safely to their destination. Boy, that would be dicey. Now, Waymo's rollout in Los Angeles hasn't been without some speed bumps. Car got pulled over in Beverly Hills for an illegal turn, and Waymo suspended service this summer when cars were torched amid protest over immigration raids. Plus, we've seen Waymos get stuck in fast food drive-thrus and take riders around in circles instead of getting them to the airport.
Looks like Bo's driving that one too, just like he was his crane. It's going a little off.
I like how they stop right by the guy on the ground. Yeah. You need a lift, sir? Okay, you're good? Okay.
The alarm went off that there was a person.
I love the guy just looking at it.
Guy's like, what in the world?
Nothing he can do.
Even the criminals, what is going on
That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Final thoughts today. Don't forget Unlock coming up at the top of the hour. LT and Brock Hugh are talking about the playoffs and how that all went in. Bruce Feldman, a bigger quote from the Dan Patrick show. Notre Dame Athletic Director Pete Bavacqua to Dan Patrick on the relationship between Notre Dame and the ACC. Quote, "We were mystified by the actions of the conference to attack their biggest partner in football. They have certainly done permanent damage to the relationship between the conference and Notre Dame." End quote.
I guess I'm going to need to know specifically what he's talking about here. I guess
there must have been lobbying from the ACC about
Miami.
Yeah.
Well, but you don't think the ACC is going to lobby for?
One's in the ACC. Yeah, one's in the ACC.
That's right. One is no, we'll be a full partner of the ACC. The other one's we're going to give you the stuff we don't care about.
Yeah.
Women's basketball, men's basketball. We're keeping the football over here. Which one do you think the ACC is going to go with?
We're giving you some of our money,
right?
Anyway.
Yeah.
You're keeping all your NBC money. You're not giving us any of that.
Right.
And now it's time for us to fight for the playoffs, and you're expecting us to fight not for the people who are giving us their playoff money?
Boy, I tell you, man, their stance isn't going to change. I mean, unless literally, I know you were kind of jokingly when you talked about the boycott, unless something like that was to happen. I heard Theismann on this morning with Dusty and Danny, and he was talking about how deplorable it was that Notre Dame wasn't in this playoffs. But, they started talking about Notre Dame's independence, and he's like, there's no reason for us to get into a conference.
Yeah, that is a flag they're willing to die on. They do not want to be in the conference. For some reason, it is a badge of honor that they're not part of a conference, and I don't understand it.
It's so pretentious. Like, we're above all of this in college football. When is the last time you won a national championship? I know you played for one last year, but there's a lot of programs that have passed you by.
And truthfully, if I was the ACC, I would kick them to the curb when it comes to the basketball and the other sports too. I mean, what
do they do for you in basketball?
And in basketball and the other sports, what are they doing for you at this point? And I would tell you this. I would say the one thing we did with this selection process is whoever decided this, whether it was the committee or if the SEC and the Big Ten was pulling strings, whatever side of this you believe, this committee, for the first time in my lifetime, told Notre Dame that we can host a national championship without you. We have a chance to put you in here.
Yep.
We choose not to. And if you don't want to play along with us, if you want to go back to sort of like the Rose Bowl had to opt in to be part of this playoff thing. And if they had not opted in, the playoffs had decided, all the SEC and Big Ten commissioners decided the future is now. You can be a part of it with us, or we can move on without you. We just told Notre Dame yesterday, there was a time in television history we needed Notre Dame for the ratings. That day is no longer here. We will move on without you guys if we need to do that.
This could end up arguably being the worst month in Notre Dame football history. If you get slighted and you didn't get into the college football playoff, and if Marcus Freeman takes the New York Giants head job, which he's your favorite right now.
I just saw it went up today.
Yeah, like if he leaves because he is the golden boy, like that is a guy you want coaching your team. That's the face you want for your program, and he is your favorite now to take over the New York Giants head coach. And if you've got this battle where you're not going to die on this hill, you're never going to get in a conference, but ultimately it can affect you getting to a college football playoff. If you get handcuffed at all, being Marcus Freeman, he's got a lot of options.
What is the market site that I couldn't pronounce yesterday? Kobayashi?
Kalshi.
Not Kobayashi. It starts with a
Kalshi.
Yeah, Kalshi, I think, huh?
Kalshi.
That's how Tyler says it.
It's gone up 18%, Freeman to the Giants during the show.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping he takes.
News is starting to break, you think?
I don't know how that market works, but the market seems to think he's at least in play.
Theismann's worried about it.
Is he really?
Yeah. I mean, look, they love Marcus Freeman, and I hope Marcus Freeman takes the job, because if he doesn't, more than likely Chris Shula, the defense coordinator.
Oh, is he the second
LA Rams?
candidate?
Yeah, it looks like their second candidate.
But
right now.
starting next year, again, I'll remind everyone that Notre Dame, if they are in the top 12 of a 12-team playoff, they are guaranteed a spot. It's in the top 13 if we expand to 16. They've already got it written in that's in the top 13. Right. So it's going to be hard for them to miss moving forward if Marcus Freeman is the type of coach he is. I mean, basically, they're going to have to go 9-3 to miss. And being in a conference, 9-3 is probably not going to get you in anyway.
Here's their schedule next year. They open with Wisconsin at Lambeau Field. Then they play Rice, Michigan State at home, at Purdue, at North Carolina. So there you go, through October 3rd.
Terrible.
That's their schedule.
Rice, Purdue, and North Carolina.
Yeah, Wisconsin, Rice, Michigan State, Purdue, and North Carolina. That's 5 programs that are either bad or horrible.
Yeah, they're 5-0.
Yep, 5-0.
All games by 21 plus.
Then they get what looks to right now 2 bye weeks, but still the ACC teams have not been planted in here yet. So SMU, Syracuse, and Stanford likely falls here at this point. SMU, Syracuse, Stanford. Navy on the 31st. Miami at Notre Dame on November the 7th. Boston College and USC to end the year.
It's another layup schedule for them. I mean, they've got – if you think Miami remains good, and USC gets
better. It's
a little better. They're improved.
I mean, USC is only going to get better. Miami is going to stay where they are.
But by that, I mean, who scares you outside of that?
No, it looks like a 2-game schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miami and USC.
Now,
one's at home and one's in.
Yeah, and looking again, if you're 10-2 with that schedule, you don't get in.
It's not a very good schedule. There's not a whole lot of wins to hang your hat on.
You know, I'm saying USC, but that game hasn't been agreed to yet, and it even says right here, date, site, and city is TBD.
And if I'm Lincoln Riley, I want it as a USC fan, but I mean, without that game, USC's in this year.
Back USC out of that schedule and tell me what kind of schedule you got there, because that was one of the games I was counting as a 2-game schedule.
Yeah, back USC and back the ACC out if you really piss them off.
Yeah.
Now you're scrambling.
It gets more appealing moving forward. Like we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, 2028, they played Texas, Arkansas, at Auburn, at Virginia Tech, Clemson, Miami. I mean, that's a good schedule. 2030, they've got Indiana at home, at Alabama, at Louisville, Clemson, Florida State. I mean, they're going to play some good teams moving forward.
Right now,
if all those stand,
Keep in mind, the SEC, since some of those contracts were written, have gone from 8 to 9 games.
Right.
And with everybody, now this is going to be everybody in college football now has got 9 conference games. That's just 3 games left to schedule out of conference. It becomes harder for Notre Dame to do a schedule every year.
I guess Miami's contractually involved because of the ACC with Notre Dame. But I was going to say, if I was Cristobal, I'd be like, I'm not playing them again. If I'm Lincoln Riley, I'm not playing them. You really do wonder when everybody looks back and they process how this season unfolded and teams that got penalized for playing difficult out-of-conference games.
Yeah.
I think these teams are going to run from them. So I think Notre Dame might have some problems scheduling in the future.
I mean, some of this must have been scheduled by Notre Dame because there are 6 ACC teams on this schedule.
I mean, maybe the ACC feels more obligated to play them than other conferences.
Because,
I mean, if you're Kalen DeBoer or Alex Golich, would you play Notre Dame?
I don't know what's to gain.
There's nothing to gain.
Yeah.
It's a great ticket. It's a great home part of your home schedule for the season ticket.
Stuart Mandel of The Athletic reacting to what Pete Bavacqua said about the ACC being mystified by their actions, said, Notre Dame apparently decided that 3 hours of actually having public sympathy for a change was just too much to bear.
Yep.
I'm going to go back to being old Notre Dame now.
All right, that's the show today. Don't forget Unlock coming up here in mere seconds with Brock and LT talking about football, both the NFL and college game. We're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.